Brother Jiang Wo, come on, Lisa said with a teasing wag of her finger. Let me take you somewhere relaxing. Wang Ran knew exactly what she meant. Part of him wanted to decline right away, but given her identity and status, it was worth playing along. He could use the opportunity to scout the upper floors and gather information. All right, he nodded, his voice calm. Lisa beamed. Things were always more fun when her guests came willingly. They reached the staircase and bumped into a familiar face, Lu Mao, the husband from the couple earlier. Two at once, huh? Wang Ran muttered, blinking in surprise. Lisa might not be much to look at, but her appetite was terrifying. Having another person around would make it trickier if things turned south. Too many witnesses. Brother Jiang Wo, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Lu Mao. And where exactly are we going, Sister Lisa? Lu Mao asked casually. Wang Ran glanced at him, mildly stunned. You followed her without knowing where she was taking you? TSK. To explore new experiences, Wang Ran replied cryptically. Lu Mao froze, his brows knitting. His expression darkened. His mind drifted to his wife, what she was enduring downstairs. I swear, one day I'm going to kill that smug bastard, Lu Mao muttered under his breath. Wang Ran didn't respond. He'd seen enough to know. Suffering changed people. Whether Lu Mao would still crave revenge after awakening was anyone's guess. The trio reached the third floor, where strange, rhythmic noises echoed from nearby rooms. Lisa ignored them, but Lu Mao stopped in his tracks, fists trembling. He recognized the voice of that man. His face twisted in pain and anger. Why her? His wife wasn't even that attractive. What was so special about her? A strange force suddenly surged from his body. Boom! A powerful aura radiated from him, filling the hallway. Lisa raised an eyebrow. You've awakened. She covered her mouth in delight. Emotional triggers, huh? She made a mental note to study that later. With this development, tonight's entertainment just got a lot more interesting. I've awakened. Lu Mao looked down at his hands, disbelief and fury mingling in his eyes. Good. I'm going to kill that bastard. He charged toward the exhibit hall, but Lisa's voice snapped through the air. Stop. Her aura flared, oppressive and absolute. Lu Mao froze mid-stride, beads of sweat trailing down his temple. This floor is for the awakened. There are dozens here. If you charge in now, you'll die before you even reach him, Lisa said coolly. You want revenge? Then shut up and follow me. Be patient. Grow stronger. Lu Mao clenched his jaw. She was right. He was no match now. If he rushed in, he'd be crushed. Reluctantly, he lowered his head and returned to her side. Lisa smirked. It was always easy for people to rationalize their choices. And when the power settled in, revenge might not seem so important anymore. Maybe they'd all enjoy the party together in the end. She led the two men to the fourth floor. Wang Ran followed, his eyes narrowed. Lisa's aura wasn't just strong. It was oppressive. She was clearly a top-tier awakened here. And yet, she was playing the role of hostess for newcomers? Strange. But then again, he glanced at himself and Lu Mao. Maybe this was less about orientation and more about initiation. Good evening, Sister Lisa. Two guards stood at the entrance to the fourth floor. Both were tall, muscular, and radiated strength. They greeted Lisa with respectful grins. Lisa, never one to waste a chance, casually trailed her fingers over their chests as she passed. Friends with benefits, clearly. Lu Mao paled as realization sank in. Brother Jiang Wo, he whispered, eyes wide. Is she bringing us here for that? You just figured that out? Wang Ran gave him a sympathetic pat on the shoulder. Look on the bright side. If you can't escape it, maybe try to enjoy it. Well, not me, he added silently. She's not laying a finger on me. Lu Mao looked like he'd been hit by lightning. His wife was downstairs. He was being led to this. What kind of twisted world is this? He felt like trading places with his wife would be preferable. Lisa finally brought them to a grand exhibition hall, usually reserved for the camp leader, but she clearly used it as her own private suite when he wasn't around. Just as they reached the door, it opened from the inside. A refined man in glasses stepped out, arm wrapped around a voluptuous woman, naked save for her panties. Lisa, two at once? You're going all out tonight. The man grinned. Wang Ran glanced up. This man had to be one of the camp's higher-ups, someone who lived on the 4th floor. The woman beside him. Wait. Wang Ran's eyes narrowed. That figure. That hair. That ahem. Unforgettable bust. Eastlake Villa owner. One of the women he'd exiled earlier that day. She hadn't recognized him yet. Good. He kept his head low and turned away, hiding his face. The woman looked dazed, eyes unfocused. She didn't even glance at him. Lucky. If she identified him here, things could get messy fast. He wasn't ready to start a slaughter. Not yet. Compared to the boss, Lisa smirked, trailing her fingers along the wall. Please, my appetite is nothing next to hers. She glanced back at the man with glasses. You've barely left your room lately. What gives? Madman stretched lazily, the woman hanging off his arm looking hollow-eyed and lifeless. Got hungry. Also wanted to have a word with the boss, he said casually. Thinking of leading a raid on Eastlake Villa tomorrow. There's someone there, another awakened, maybe as strong as me. If you and the boss tag along, it'll be an easy sweep. As he spoke, his hand wandered over the woman's body. She flinched just slightly but said nothing. Lisa rolled her eyes. Let the boss enjoy her night. I've got company to entertain myself. She pushed open the door to the exhibit hall, her steps confident and predatory. Wang Ran lowered his head and followed her in, with Lu Mao dragging behind like a man walking into his own funeral. The door slammed shut behind them. The room was a surreal blend of luxury and madness. Wedding decorations hung in tatters. Red veils, palanquins, crimson bedding, all drenched in symbolism that once meant love and joy. Now just looked wrong. Eerie. Lisa sauntered to the massive bed at the center, then, without a hint of shame, stripped down to a provocative red lingerie set. Come here, she purred, beckoning with one finger. Wang Ran exhaled slowly. If it were Xiaoyu doing this, he might have gone weak in the knees. But Lisa? Too plain, too proud, and too dangerous. Next to him, Lu Mao fidgeted, flustered. He glanced at Wang Ran, eyes pleading for direction. Brother Jiangwo, maybe you go first? He asked, his voice cracking. You're the awakened here. With great power comes great responsibility. Wang Ran patted his shoulder, pushing him gently forward. Lu Mao hesitated, then steeled himself. If this is what it takes to grow stronger, to get revenge, then so be it. He approached Lisa, jaw clenched. But Lisa only had eyes for Wang Ran. Big brother Jiangwo, don't be shy, she said, voice like syrup. Wang Ran walked over, expression unreadable, and sat beside her on the bed. She turned slightly, giving him a better view. You checking me out? Lisa giggled. What? My body's got you flustered already. Wang Ran didn't answer. His eyes scanned her back, fingers slowly tracing her spine. Neck. One good hit there, clean, disabling. She'd be paralyzed, but alive. Easier to interrogate. Lisa shivered under his touch, mistaking calculation for desire. Behind them, Lu Mao took a hesitant step forward, then froze. His gaze had locked onto something beside the pillow, a bracelet. His eyes widened. Why is her bracelet here? He picked it up, hands trembling. It had a name engraved on it. Shueya, his wife's bracelet. I was just with her today. We came here together. She's never left my side since then, he said, voice rising in panic. Why would this be here? Why would she? Lisa sighed. The mood was shattered anyway. Fine. You want the truth? Your wife, Shueya, is the boss of Bloodfawn Camp. Lu Mao's mind went blank. Even Wang Ran's head jerked up. What? She's just a normal girl, Lu Mao stammered. When those bastards attacked her, she couldn't even fight back. She was terrified. What's her name? Lisa asked, arms crossed. Shueya. What? Lisa smirked. Fits, doesn't it? Bloodfawn. No, I don't believe it. Lu Mao shook his head violently. She told me she escaped from a hotel after days of hiding. She cried in my arms. And it was all true, Lisa said with a shrug. She did hide in that hotel. She did survive. By eating zombie meat. Rotten human meat. That's how she awakened. That's how she became this. Lu Mao reeled. I'm her colleague, by the way, Lisa added. Chinese name's Wu Li. Ring any bells? Lu Mao blinked. His wife had mentioned someone named Wu Li once. Lisa continued, her voice unnervingly cheerful. We built this camp together. We grew stronger. And now, well, I like pretty newbies. Pick out the tasty ones, have a little fun. And Shueya? Oh, she loves to act. Pretends to be a helpless little newbie and lets the awakened on the third floor rescue her. Sometimes, I'm not even sure who's the hunter and who's the prey. She laughed. She's creative like that. Plenty of the guys upstairs, they've all had a taste. And the ones who found out, they didn't say a word. Let the cycle continue. Lu Mao's hands curled into fists. No, no, that's not her. She wouldn't. She couldn't. Lisa's voice turned cold. What world do you think this is? You want to know how we survived those first days? What it took. We were starving. We ate things you can't even imagine. And we lived. You think anyone who's seen that kind of darkness stays the same? Lisa's gaze narrowed. If she didn't care about you, even just a little, she never would have brought you here. Silence fell. Lu Mao stood frozen, bracelet clutched tight in his fist, the truth gnawing at the edges of his sanity. Wang Ran just watched, expression calm, but his mind was already working through what to do next.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
All right, you didn't know, did you? The meal you had tonight was actually made of zombie meat. Boss Shui gave you a medium rare one to help you get used to it. She's still favoring you over others. Still, not bad. You actually awakened. When Boss Shueyer is done, she's going to be delighted. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to business. Lisa removed her undergarments and opened her arms. Lu Mao's body trembled. It could be seen that he had not yet recovered from shock. His wife was actually the boss of this camp. Moreover, she liked to act as a newbie, and Lu Mao felt his forehead turn green. It's you. You're definitely the one who led her astray. I'm going to kill you. Lu Mao couldn't help but throw a punch at Lisa. Lisa furrowed her brows and evaded him easily. At the same time, she grabbed Lu Mao's wrist with lightning speed. Gotcha! As soon as Lisa used her strength, Lu Mao's wrist was crushed. Don't think that I won't touch you just because you're Boss Shueya's husband. She has had her eyes on many men here. You're not one of them. Lisa said coldly. What a killjoy. It had not been easy for Brother Jiang Wo to stir up the mood, but it was actually ruined by this Lu Mao. I want to ask her face to face. Lu Mao held his wrist and rushed out of the exhibition hall. He still had a trace of hope in his heart. He hoped that Lisa was just fooling him. His wife, Shueya, worked in a hotel. Although he didn't know what she did for a living, he was sure that she was a decent person. How could she have done such a thing? Wang Ran could not help but sigh. He pitied Lu Mao. All right, big brother Jiang Wo. Let's not let him ruin our mood. Let's continue, Lisa said in a daze. I'll go lock the door. I don't want to be disturbed any further. Wang Ran smiled and walked toward the entrance of the exhibition hall. Lisa felt her body heating up. This Jiang Wo could really make her feel it with just a look. It would be even better if he could become an awakened. Wang Ran locked the door and tried to push it. It was indeed quite sturdy, as expected of a museum's door. He was relieved. Wang Ran walked to the bed and sat down. Come, lie down first. Wang Ran said to Lisa, Big brother Jiang Wo, you're such a tease. Lisa smiled and laid on the bed obediently. She was looking forward to what Wang Ran would do next. Wang Ran placed his hand on Lisa's back and started climbing up the spine, section by section. When it reached the back of his neck, Wang Ran's fingers stopped. Big brother Jiang Wo, don't stop, Lisa said softly. She was already in the zone. Wang Ran smiled. He suddenly exerted force with his fingers and pierced them into Lisa's skin. He squeezed. With a soft sound, Lisa lost all feeling below her neck. What's going on? Lisa exclaimed in shock. She only felt a sharp pain before she lost control of her body. Come. It's time for brother Jiang Wo's interrogation. Next, you'll answer whatever I ask. Wang Ran said indifferently. You aren't awakened. It is impossible for ordinary awakened ones to be this powerful. Just who are you? Lisa suddenly felt a sense of fear. She wanted to scream, but she found it difficult to even breathe. She was quickly losing strength. Let's start with your camp. Who are the most powerful people? Do they have any support or supplies? Where they placed? Wang Ran asked indifferently. Wang Ran now knew the boss. He found it annoying and troublesome, this act of playing the weak newbie. If he had not found out by chance, it would have been nearly impossible to learn of this. I'll talk. I'll talk, Lisa said as she cried. The fear in her heart grew stronger and stronger as she couldn't move her body. Ever since she became an awakened and then advanced, Lisa had never been so afraid. We have 43 awakened ones in our camp. We lost a team recently, so that's 38 awakened. Among them, Madman, Boss Shueya, and myself have advanced. I'm the weakest of the three. As for who's the strongest, I'm not sure. That's right. You must want to know how we continue to become stronger, right? We've caught 2 mutated zombies, and we've been drinking their pus every day. Of course, not everyone can withstand it. Quite a few awakened ones died trying it. Lisa spilled everything. F***CK. Zombie pus. You guys have gone down the deep end. Wang Ran felt a little nauseated. Not only was this method disgusting, but it should also be quite dangerous, right? Otherwise, there would be more than 3 powerhouses in this camp. Moreover, eating zombie meat alone should be able to eliminate many people with weak physiques. The probability seemed, after thinking about it, his own method was the safest. Of course, like Wu Jiangwo and the others, relying on gold to activate their physique and increasing their strength through combat was the right way. As for the supplies, the museum's basement. The entire floor is filled with supplies. Most of them are daily necessities, tools, cigarettes, and wine. We don't eat much. We usually only eat zombie meat and a small amount of vegetables. I've said all I can. Please let me go, Brother Jiangwo. Lisa begged. Have you said what you needed to say? All right, he said. Wang Ran did not hold back. He grabbed Lisa's head and twisted it half a circle. Lisa's eyes were wide open as she stared at the ceiling. Cool. Wang Ran grabbed the lingerie beside him and wiped the blood off his hand. Next, I'll have to kill all the awakened ones in the camp. How do I capture them all in one fell swoop? Wang Ran touched his chin and pondered. If he attacked them openly, dozens would probably slip out in the chaos. They would be even harder to stamp out. The vast majority of these awakened ones knew the disgusting methods of awakening. If he did not clean them up, more subsidiary blood fangs would rise up again. After thinking about it, Wang Ran decided to kill the higher-ups here first. One was Madman, and the other was Shueya. It shouldn't be hard to deal with. Time to make a move. Wang Ran ruffled up his clothes and pants before he opened the door and walked out. Yo, what's going on today? Just now, one ran out, and now the one has come out. That's way too fast. This year's rookies aren't good enough. The guard at the stairs laughed as he smoked. Brother, Sister Lisa just said that we are too weak and that we are not good. They said she wanted Brother Madman to help her vent their anger. Wang Ran said, pretending to be embarrassed. Ha ha ha, newbie, that's not your fault. Sister Lisa isn't someone ordinary people can handle. All right, I'll go and report it immediately. The guard smiled profoundly and did not doubt Wang Ran's words. From the looks of it, this happened pretty frequently. Wang Ran pretended to be in an awkward position as he scratched his head and walked back to Lisa's room. Then, he would wait for Madman there. It was a pity that he didn't bring any handy weapons. Wang Ran rummaged through the room. Leather whips, dildos. None of them were suitable. I'll just use my fists. To be safe, Wang Ran turned Lisa's head back in place. He covered her neck with a blanket. Well, it seemed a little more natural this way. Not long after, Madman pushed the door open and entered with Buxom in his arms. He did not forget to lock the door. After all, they were all high-ranking officials, and it wouldn't be good if their voices were spread. From a distance, Lisa was lying on the bed. Beside the bed was a young man who looked like he could barely even stand. TSK, Lisa, how many times have I told you? It's boring to play with newbies. They're all ordinary people. Their physiques can't be compared with awakened ones. In the end, you still need my help, Madman said as he came to the bed. He looked at Lisa, who was lying on her stomach, and felt that something was wrong. Lisa seemed to be motionless. Was this because the opponent was too weak and she fell asleep out of boredom? At that moment, Wang Ran turned to him with a smile. Since Madman was already within a few meters of him, he had no more worries. You? When Madman saw Wang Ran smile, he felt his hair stand on end. His intuition told him that this person was not simple. It's him. Boss Wang Ran. Buxom's body trembled as if she had seen a ghost. Of course, she recognized Wang Ran. He was the #1 figure in the villa area. At that time, she had wanted to throw herself into his arms, but unfortunately, she never got the chance. Brother Madman, he's the boss of the East Lake Villa. What is he doing here? Buxom was a little flustered. She thought that Wang Ran was here to kill her. The boss himself? Madman's eyes widened. Anyone who led an entire camp could not be simple. If he was here, what was his purpose? Madman shoved Buxom away, getting ready for battle. Buxom originally planned to run to the door, but after Wang Ran glared at her, her legs went soft, and she fell to the ground. Since you're going to die soon, I will let you know this. I'm here because one of your retarded underlings threatened my underling. Now, I'm here to massacre your camp. Wang Ran rubbed his wrist and said casually, just because of a subordinate? Are you F***ing out of your mind? Madman was stunned. He called himself Madman, but he couldn't do such a crazy thing. One of his men was threatened, and you, as the boss, came in alone? This was a little too much. Madman looked at Lisa, who was lying motionless on the bed. She was probably already dead. He didn't know if he had launched a sneak attack or if he had fought head-on. If he had killed Lisa in a head-on battle, then it would be very risky for him. After all, he was not much stronger than Lisa. You guys went around doing your business, mass-produced awakens with zombie meat. None of this has anything to do with me. But your people threatened my subordinate. I'm sorry, you can only die. Wang Ran smiled and moved. This speed, Madman's brain reacted, but his body couldn't keep up. He could only endure it. Madman quickly turned to the side and retracted his arm to protect his head. Boom! Wang Ran's heavy fist caused Madman to take a few steps back. F***CK. He broke my arm. A large amount of sweat appeared on Madman's forehead. He definitely couldn't win. Run. He couldn't run away. The other party's speed was too fast. How could he be so strong? Madman thought for a while and decided to admit defeat. Brother, why don't we sit down and have a good chat? Isn't it a problem between our subordinates? I'll offer you his head. You can even take 100 packs of cigarettes from us. Let's just treat it as the beginning of a new alliance. Madman gritted his teeth as he endured the pain in his arm. He did not stand a chance. He couldn't even take a single punch from him. This guy was even scarier than Boss. I'm sorry, I don't smoke. However, the poor guy who got attacked by our people, he's a smoker, all right. Don't worry, after I kill you all, I'll make good use of it all. Wang Ran walked towards Madman expressionlessly. F***CK. You asked for this. Madman took out a taser from his waist with his left hand. Crack, crack, crack. The top of the electrobaton flickered with blue and white lightning. Seriously? You're too naive. Wang Ran smiled. This isn't for you. Madman took the electrobaton and directly jammed it into his own chest. His entire body twitched in an instant. Wang Ran was a little confused. What was this? Shocking himself dead? It was so fascinating. Madman electrocuted himself for a few seconds before throwing the taser to the side. Hee. You're about to see a show? This only lasts half a minute, but even the boss can't handle me. The Madman said, as he charged towards Wang Ran. As expected, he had gained a lot of power. That's very interesting. Was it a way of stimulating the nervous system or something? How did he discover such a magical way to play it? Very rapidly, Madman arrived in front of Wang Ran. He only had to hold on for half a minute. A punch was thrown. Wang Ran didn't dodge it. He met his fist with his own. A head-on clash. Ka-cha, ka-cha. The sound of bones breaking was heard. Madman's arm instantly twisted and bent in a strange shape. Arg! My hand! Madman was in so much pain that he wanted to cradle it. But both his hands had been broken. Even this forced burst of power could not stand against him. How did he become so strong? Was their method of eating zombies inefficient? Madman fell into an existential crisis. Wang Ran didn't give Madman any time to think. He immediately walked up and broke his legs. Big brother, please spare my life. I'm smart. I could be your think tank. The madman started to beg for mercy. How many brains do you have? Wang Ran raised his foot and stomped down hard. Madman's head was crushed like a watermelon. Buxom was dumbfounded. Brother Madman, who had such a high status in this camp, was killed just like that? Was Boss Wang Ran that powerful? Boss Wang Ran, bring me back in. I'll do anything you want. If you don't believe me, you could check the goods first. Buxom crawled to Wang Ran's side and hugged his calf. Now, she only hoped that she could attract Wang Ran. I'm sorry, but you can't even plant crops properly. Why should I bring you back? Besides, you ate a few of my little tomatoes. This matter can't be solved without 100 kilograms of gold. All right, you were the one who told this guy the location of our camp, right? Wang Ran coldly asked. Previously, Wang Ran had heard about their plans to attack his base. It was obvious. Buxom must have been the culprit. He forced me. My heart is towards... Before Buxom could finish her sentence, Wang Ran's foot caved her skull in. A pillar of blood shot into the sky. Oh my sneakers. I think I need to get a new pair. Wang Ran sighed. It finally gave way after his excessive use. He was not happy about it. He had to go to the specialty store to find a few pairs of shoes. After killing Madman, Wang Ran had a gist of the power levels here. Very King powerful. They were all trash. There was no more need for caution. However, the floor plan of the museum. If he were to charge in from one direction, the other party could be able to make a detour and escape from the stairs. He had to trap them in somehow. He could bring his girls along. Wang Ran immediately gave Xiaoyu a call. Xiaoyu, museum, some stuff to kill. Bring a truck. There's loot. Wang Ran simply said a few words. Yes, master. I'll be there immediately. Xiaoyu sounded very excited. He didn't know if it was because she could kill people or because there were spoils of war. It shouldn't be because of the latter, probably. Wang Ran found a palanquin and directly lay down. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, he decided to lie down here for a while and wait for Xiaoyu to arrive. The awakened ones here, other than the pitiful Lu Mao, no one was left alive. East Lake Island. Su Xiaoyu had changed into a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt. It was her battle garment. Su Xiaoyu liked to wear short skirts when she was with Wang Ran because it was convenient. However, she couldn't wear this when she was going out to kill someone. After all, wearing a skirt didn't allow her to raise her legs high. No man other than the master could be granted such a sight. Not even zombies. Lin Momo was secretly observing her from the side. Sister Xiaoyu's legs were really enviable. They were white and long, and her, but was so perky. She couldn't help but want to touch it. So why was she only 1.6 meters tall? She couldn't be compared to Sister Xiaoyu's figure at all. Sister Xiaoyu, did Master call you for help? Lin Momo asked while holding the door. Yeah, I'm going to kill people. I'm so happy, Su Xiaoyu said as she tied her hair up into a bun. When she tied her hair up, her slender neck was exposed, and she looked especially pretty. Arg, I want to go too. Master, didn't you say that I can come along? Lin Momo stomped her feet and asked anxiously. I didn't say that. All right, just come along. Su Xiaoyu pinched Lin Momo's chest, then turned around and ran away. Sister Xiaoyu, you're too much. Lin Momo blushed and stomped her feet anxiously. She hadn't even launched a sneak attack, but Sister Xiaoyu had already succeeded. Too much, too much. Only Master can touch this place. However, Lin Momo was so happy that she would be able to see her master soon that she quickly forgot about Xiaoyu taking advantage of her. The two of them left the villa together. Sister Xiaoyu, should we replenish our energy before we go to fight? Lin Momo suddenly asked. What you said makes sense. Let's go and have a drink. Su Xiaoyu held Lin Momo's hand and ran to the kitchen together. At that moment, a small head popped out from the villa next door. Go on and fight? That seems very interesting. I've become stronger. It's a good time to find someone to practice with. Tang Tang sneakily lifted her axe and ran in the direction of the parking lot. If I ask them directly, they might not take me there. I'll hide in the car first, hee. I'm so quick-witted. Tang Tang hugged her axe, got into the back of the car, and closed the door. After a while, he heard footsteps. That should be Xiaoyu and Momo. The sound of the door opening, the door closing, and the engine. The engine was moving further and further away. Tang Tang was dumbfounded. I got in the wrong car. Tang Tang pushed open the carriage door. The car's tail lights that gradually disappeared confirmed this. So annoying. Tang Tang's axe smashed the ground. She was crying from her own stupidity. I'm so angry. What to do? After thinking about it, Tang Tang decided to grab a drink, that special drug. If you don't bring me, I'll drink all your stock. Tang Tang felt much better at the thought of this and immediately snuck into the kitchen. As soon as she opened the refrigerator, Tang Tang took out the can. There were only 2/3 left. It looked like they had not been able to restock it much. I'm going to drink more today, humph. Tang Tang picked up the jar and directly took a big gulp. The thick liquid flowed down her throat and into her body. A wave of heat instantly exploded in her body. From her previous experience, Tang Tang knew that she had to quickly go to the pool to soak, otherwise she would not be able to stand the heat. As for the half-empty jar, they would spot it easily. After thinking for a while, Tang Tang took a box of milk, added some to it, and shook it. Yes, it looks similar. It's a little diluted, but it should work. Tang Tang was very satisfied as she kept the ice in the storage. Then, she quickly ran back to the villa with her axe. The next step was to cool down. When she wakes up tomorrow morning, she would be very strong. Tang Tang jumped into the pool with joy. Comfortable, but her chest was feeling a little swollen. The thing she had just drunk. There shouldn't be any side effects, right? In the women's washroom on the first floor of the museum in Bloodfawn Camp, Jean Bao made sure there was no one inside before he carefully closed the door. Damn it, there are too many people on this floor. It's so difficult to even make a phone call. Jean Bao complained as he hid in a cubicle. There was no other way. There were more than 100 newcomers on the first level. If it wasn't for the fact that there were fewer female survivors on this floor, he wouldn't have found any opportunities. Jean Bao took out his phone and made a call. Hey, it's me. I've already confirmed that Madman is indeed in this camp, and he should be a leader-level figure. As for his strength, he's stronger than the average awakened one. He should be at the same level as me. Jean Bao said in a low voice. Captain Jean, thank you for your hard work. This time, we can take revenge for our dead teammates. A woman's voice came from a phone. You've worked hard. Well, it's also disgusting. Jean Bao's stomach churned at the thought of him pretending to eat zombie meat carelessly. Moreover, there were many things in the camp that made him grit his teeth. He had no choice. As an old cop, he was very clear about the purpose of his visit this time. Capture Madman and destroy this camp. As for the other matters, he could only endure for now. Now that they had confirmed that Madman was here, they could make their move. There are about 30 awakened ones here. There are only 8 in our team. I'll make an exception and bring a gun this time. All that noise isn't good for zombies, but F***ck it. If we wait any longer, this camp will only become stronger and stronger. Half an hour. Gather at the entrance in half an hour. We'll coordinate from the inside and destroy this place in one breath. Jean Bao said with a determined look. All right, Captain Jean, I'll immediately mobilize my men. The girl hung up after saying that. Jean Bao sighed as he sat on the toilet. I've finally caught you. This lunatic had killed many people before the apocalypse, including a few police officers. His unscrupulous lawyer proved that he had serious mental problems when he killed, so he was temporarily detained in the mental hospital, waiting for the follow-up trial. But the end of the world came. This guy escaped, and even went to kill a few old police officers who had captured him. This made Jean Bao and the other police officers so angry that they almost broke their teeth. Their specialized unit, where Jean Bao was in, relied on their superior equipment, excellent physiques, and cooperation to quickly set up a camp. However, due to the lack of resources, they could not take in survivors on a large scale. Over the past 2 days, Jean Bao's campsite had barely stabilized, and they had even taken down a grain depot. There were also several awakened ones among the team members. Only then did Jean Bao go out to hunt the man down. He didn't expect to strike gold this soon. After a day of undercover work, Jean Bao had spotted the lunatic eating on the second floor while he was strolling in the hall. Target confirmed. He could finally make his move. Jean Bao dug his throat and vomited out the zombie meat that he had eaten that night. Although he had already awakened and was not afraid of the virus, it was still disgusting. A lunatic was a lunatic. Even the camp was so abnormal. After washing his face, Jean Bao took a deep breath and opened the door. At that moment, a chubby woman was standing at the door, ready to go to the toilet. Their eyes met, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. I hate it. Why is there such a smell in the toilet? Jean Bao said in a high-pitched voice, pinching his fingers like an orchid. He had no choice. In order to complete the mission, he had to go all out. He couldn't create trouble for no reason at this time. Anyway, no one here knew him, so he pretended to be effeminate. The fat woman was stunned. But he still couldn't go to the women's bathroom. Before the fat woman could react, Jean Bao ran away with orchid fingers. Phew! Jean Bao leaned against the wall of the exhibition hall, his face red. The next step was to wait for his team to rush over. Blood Fawn Camp. I can finally catch you all in one fell swoop. On the fourth floor, Wang Ran, who was lying on the bed, finally received a message from Xiaoyu. They had arrived. Momo is also here. Momo, you're in charge of guarding the museum's entrance. Xiaoyu, kill the guards and guard the stairs. Restrain yourself and keep your claws. Don't expose your zombie identity. Wang Ran replied to the message and then stood up to stretch. He could finally kill without restraint. Wang Ran walked to the door and opened it. The two guards of the staircase were still smoking and chatting. It was indeed boring to guard the fourth floor. Who would dare to come up to the leader's territory for no reason? When they saw Wang Ran come out, they did not even shift their positions. Oh, it's over. Brother Madman is still the best. He took half an hour to get here. A guard said with a smile. That's right. I can't even last a minute with Sister Lisa's strength. The other one was shaking with laughter. You're the one who's weak. Who can you blame? Didn't Sister Lisa stop looking for you after that? AI, what are you saying? Do you believe I'll beat you up? Before Wang Ran could make a move, the two guards started arguing among themselves. Wang Ran walked over with a smile. Don't try to persuade him. I'm going to have a chat with him about this. What do you mean I'm weak? The guard, who had not even been here for a minute, thought that Wang Ran was here to stop the fight. Oh, right. Wang Ran was indeed here to stop the fight. He suddenly reached out and grabbed the heads of two guards, slamming them together. The two skulls were crushed. This time, they finally stopped quarreling and leaned against each other lovingly. Wang Ran first went to the crazy person's room to take a look. It was filled with bottles of zombie pus and some bones that had been gnawed clean. Nauseating. After making sure that there were no survivors upstairs, Wang Ran whistled like Kill Bill as he walked down the stairs. As soon as he reached the third floor, Wang Ran saw Lu Mao sitting on the ground with a dispirited expression. From the looks of it, the result of him rushing in and confronting his wife face to face had not gone well. Brother Jiang Wo. Lu Mao raised his head and greeted him. So, my wife has been doing special services in the hotel. I was played a fool. I was wondering where she got so many bags and accessories. Lu Mao wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes. There were still some injuries on his face. Wang Ran did not know if it was caused by his wife or the awakened ones inside. The most important thing in life is to be happy. You can go down there, but you might not be able to accept the scene later. Wang Ran patted Lu Mao's shoulder. Brother Jiang Wo, you're joining too. Lu Mao's body trembled. Wang Ran was one of the few people he had felt some sort of bond with. Could it be that even he was? What are you thinking? I'm going to kill someone. Wang Ran patted Lu Mao's head. Kill? Brother Jiang Wo, don't be rash. The people inside are all awakened. They were the ones who threw me out just now. You haven't awakened yet. It's too dangerous. Lu Mao was a little worried. I'm fine. Hurry up and go downstairs, Wang Ran said, as he lifted Lu Mao up and pushed him to the top of the stairs. The guards at the staircase were still laughing about Lu Mao's antics. Before they could react, Wang Ran had already broken their spines with a karate chop. Brother Jiang Wo, you were that powerful. Lu Mao's eyes widened. All right, go downstairs. If you meet a long-legged beauty guarding the stairs, just call her sister Xiaoyu, and she'll let you through. Wang Ran patted Lu Mao's shoulder. Although this guy had also awakened by eating zombie meat, he was a decent man, so Wang Ran still gave him a way out. Lu Mao nodded in confusion. There was too much information for him to digest all at once. However, since Wang Ran had asked him to go downstairs, he still obediently listened. Lu Mao turned around. Brother Jiang Wo, if you see my wife, just say that I, Lu Mao, have decided to divorce her. She doesn't deserve to be my wife, Lu Mao said with a determined expression. Wang Ran nodded. He could do that much. After letting Lu Mao go, Wang Ran walked to the exhibition hall on the right side of the third floor. As soon as he reached the door, he could hear the sound of collisions and shouts from inside. Wang Ran frowned. This place was too wretched. Such matters required consent. These awakens were abusing their gifts to the fullest. It would not be too much to kill all of them. Of course, Wang Ran knew that in this lawless and cruel apocalypse, such acts were rapidly becoming commonplace. But he was no saint. It was nothing more than a coincidence that he had come here, so there was no harm clearing some filth up in passing. After that, he could go home and lay there for a while. Boom! Wang Ran kicked the door open. Dozens of pairs of eyes stared at Wang Ran at the same time. They were having a good time, but someone had rudely interrupted them. Who could stand this? Brat, are you looking to die? The skinny man said as he lounged on a sofa. He was too wounded to partake, so he simply decided to enjoy the view. Who knew that someone would be so bold as to kick the door open? You're him, aren't you? The one who made my little brother smash his own arm? Wang Ran looked at the skinny man, his body exuding a strong, murderous aura. A chill ran down his back. Why do I feel like I need to pee? I'm so scared. As he thought about what Wang Ran had said, the skinny man panicked even more. You? Your little brother? You called yourself Wu Jiangwo. It was not a coincidence. Wu Jiangwo is your underling. Who the hell are you? The skinny man stood up, trembling. Since you've asked so sincerely, why do I have to tell you? Wang Ran immediately punched and awakened beside him to death. Everyone present trembled. What kind of strength was this? Even Boss and Brother Madman might not be able to kill an awakened with a single punch. Everyone became nervous. Shueya, who was still immersed in the joy of acting as a newbie, had to put on a serious expression and jump off her supposed predator. Hey, don't. I was almost there. The small man with the mustache was a little depressed. Are you looking for death? That's our boss. One of the awakened ones beside him could not stand it anymore and reminded him softly. As if struck by lightning, the small man instantly lowered his head. Big Brother Jiangwo. Ah, no. You should be the boss of the East Lake base, right? Shui casually grabbed a dress and put on before she walked up to Wang Ran. I didn't expect you to enjoy the newbie act as much as I do. My man messed up. How about this? I'll make him cut off his 5 limbs as an apology to you. You're such a looker. Why don't you be the boss of this camp in the future, and I'll continue to play as a newbie? What do you think? Shui asked with a smile. To be honest, Shui was not very pretty, but she was so experienced in the act that Wang Ran really pitted Lu Mao. Boss, 5 of my own limbs? Don't, boss. At least leave 1 for me. The skinny man was so frightened that his snot was flowing down. He had not expected his boss to sell him out. And look at their boss. His underling had simply fractured an arm, yet he had directly come to kill them. He was too protective. It was really enviable. I'm sorry. Even if everyone here cuts off their own 5 limbs, I never planned on letting you guys go. Wang Ran shrugged his shoulders with a calm expression. The people present were shocked again. So arrogant? Was there something wrong with this person's brain? Only the skinny man secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The negotiations fell through. It's good that the negotiations fell apart. His 5 limbs would be saved. Boy, don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you're strong. We have over 30 awakened ones here. Do you really think you can kill so many of them by yourself? Even if it's me, I might not be able to take on 5 at the same time. Even if you're stronger than me, then people are enough to deal with you. Shui said coldly. That was all she knew about the power of awakened ones. Well, I can definitely be so arrogant. So can you if you're strong. None of the awakened ones here today will survive. Wang Ran did a few radio calisthenics and stretched his limbs. Shuiya's face twitched. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. All right, then I'll kill you. Since the establishment of the Blood Fawn camp, no one had ever dared to be so arrogant in front of her. Brothers go, kill him. We'll drink an unlimited amount of beer tonight. Shuiya shouted. Beer was a rare commodity, and there was usually a limited supply. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard Shuiya's words. It's just one person, F***CK. The 30-odd awakened ones pulled up their pants and surrounded him. Each of them looked as if they wanted to eat Wang Ran up. Wang Ran smiled slightly. It would be great if they surrounded him. It would save him the trouble of chasing them down and killing them one by one. By the way, Lu Mao asked me to tell you this. He hereby divorces you. As soon as Wang Ran finished speaking, he took a step forward and rushed toward Shuiya. Shuiya's mind was still filled with the words she had just said. In the blink of an eye, Wang Ran's fist was already in front of her. A crisp sound. Shuiya's head exploded. All the surrounding awakened ones were stunned. Most of them knew that this was their boss. Boss was even stronger than Brother Madman. She died just like that? Poochie, poochie, poochie. Wang Ran smashed their heads one by one like he was smashing watermelons. By the time they reacted, Wang Ran had already smashed 4 or 5 heads. Everyone, charge. He only has a pair of hands. Let's just kill him first. Someone in the crowd shouted. The awakened ones woke up one after another and rushed toward Wang Ran. The one who shouted quietly ran to the gate. Countless fists were thrown at Wang Ran. Wang Ran crossed his arms to protect his head before he slammed his body forward. A gap was immediately created in the encirclement. Wang Ran stomped on the awakened's head on the ground and stepped out of the encirclement. Then he turned around. Now, they will have a harder time escaping. No matter how many came, he was not afraid. F***CK, let's go all out. The awakened ones charged toward Wang Ran, one after another. Wang Ran smiled and directly started a head-on confrontation. What followed was a series of concentrated thuds. Countless fists landed on flesh and bone. More and more people fell. One by one, the corpses were piled up in front of Wang Ran. The blood had turned into a cloud of red mist. When their fists landed on Wang Ran's body, they were like primary school students' attacks. He knew something was touching him, but he barely felt any pain. The more Wang Ran fought, the more courageous he became. Of course, only after he realized that they could not hurt him did he grow more reckless. Basically, with every punch he threw, Wang Ran would harvest ahead. Very quickly, the remaining awakened ones realized that it was impossible for them to kill Wang Ran. They started breaking off to escape. 2 of them ran away. Everyone started to rush towards the gate. Wang Ran lazily gave chase, leaving bloody footprints behind him. There were only about 10 left. He believed that Xiaoyu would not let him down. The skinny man was at the forefront. He was the one who had shouted for everyone to attack. Only fools would attack together. I'll escape first. When he reached the stairs on the first floor, the skinny man saw Su Xiaoyu, who stood guard there. This girl is hot. The skinny man's eyes lit up. When did she join the camp? Sigh, if he wasn't running for his life, he would have whipped out his gun on the spot. Su Xiaoyu saw him coming. Master said that I can't let any of them go, except for the one who called me Sister Xiaoyu just now. Su Xiaoyu stretched her arms and placed her legs on the handrail of the stairs. After a simple warm-up, it was time to kill. The skinny man did not take Su Xiaoyu as a threat. He stared at her as he prepared to run past her. When he passed by Su Xiaoyu, the skinny man reached out for a passing grope. Su Xiaoyu, of course, would not let him have his way. She immediately retracted her leg and gave him an upward kick. The head of the skinny man was separated from his body. A large amount of blood spurted out from his neck. Not long after, a few more awakened ones came running down from upstairs. Although they were confused when they saw the skeletal dragon's corpse, they did not have much time to think. Right now, escaping was more important. But the staircase that Su Xiaoyu was guarding was not a place that anyone could easily break through. Poochie, poochie, poochie. Su Xiaoyu's attacks were swift, and her killing speed was comparable to Wang Ran's. In a short half a minute, The group of awakened ones who had managed to escape had been brutally dealt with. Large amounts of blood flowed down the stairs. We really made this blood fong camp all bloody. Wang Ran unhurriedly went to the second floor to take a look. There was an exhibition hall where a large number of zombies were locked up, and one of them was a mutated zombie. This was the food reserve of the blood fong camp. Wang Ran was too lazy to deal with ordinary zombies. After killing the mutated zombie and the few guards who were guarding the cafeteria, Wang Ran stretched his back. It was finally settled. Xiaoyu should have wrapped things up on her end. As expected, when Wang Ran reached the second floor, he could already see pools of blood and corpses on the first floor. "Hi, Master." Xiaoyu saw Wang Ran sticking his head out and immediately waved at him. Just now, Su Xiaoyu had used her fists and legs to kill the awakened ones who had escaped. She had not even used her claws. "Let's go. We'll move the stuff downstairs and then go home." Wang Ran hugged Xiaoyu's shoulders. He had not seen her for half a day and missed her. However, he had to admit that Xiaoyu's bun-like hairstyle looked pretty good. It's convenient. In the future, they could play more versatile roles and positions. Su Xiaoyu's heart was filled with tenderness, and her body leaned against Wang Ran's as if she had no bones. They called Lin Momo over, who was at the door, and the three of them began to move the supplies. There was an elevator in the museum, but for the convenience of management, the elevator was destroyed by the people in the camp. The three of them could only carry the goods with their bare hands. However, with their physiques, moving things was a piece of cake for them. In 10 minutes, the dozens of boxes of wine, snacks, and thousands of cigarettes were almost all loaded into the truck. It seemed that the people of the Blood Fawn camp did not have to worry about food, so they collected items of leisure. But then again, after the apocalypse, cigarettes and alcohol were also hard currency. They were quite valuable in barter trading. Jin Bao slipped out of the exhibition hall on the first floor. It was almost time for his appointment with his teammates, and he planned to come out and meet them. As soon as he came out, he ran into Wang Ran, who was holding dozens of packs of cigarettes. "Hey, Brother Jiangwo, what are you?" Jin Bao's body shook. "Burglary. Would the people in the camp let you do that?" Jin Bao turned to look at the stairs. The steps were filled with headless corpses. Blood continued to flow down like a waterfall. "F***, you did this?" Jin Bao was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth. "Do you smoke?" Wang Ran took a cigarette and waved it. "I do." Jin Bao nodded. As a veteran police officer, he would smoke nonstop every time he worked on a case. It was good to have a cigarette these days. Wang Ran thought about it and tossed him a pack. "This seems to be popular. All right, I'll take my leave. I'd advise you not to stay too long in this place. Goodbye." After Wang Ran finished speaking, he walked out of the museum with the supplies in his arms, leaving behind a dumbfounded Jin Bao. After a while, Jin Bao finally reacted. This was the Blood Fawn camp. There were dozens of awakened ones and 3 high-level experts. Where were they? "So you, Brother Wu Jiangwo, sneaked in and pretended to be a newbie just to snatch their supplies for yourself?" This was unbelievable. Jin Bao thought for a while, then mustered up the courage to go upstairs. The corpses. They were all corpses. Other than the newbies who were pulled up to the 3rd floor, everyone else was dead. Jin Bao searched for a long time before he found Madman's body on the 4th floor. Madman had a habit of slashing his body every time he killed someone. That was how Jin Bao identified his body. F***. Madman died just like that. I had to sneak around here like a peacock and even ate zombies' meat. And he's dead. Jin Bao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that there was no point in hiding. Jin Bao shook his head and went to the 3rd floor. These were all newbies who had been pulled up by the wretched awakens. Most of them were women, but there were also a few men. "Everyone, go downstairs and gather up. I have something to say." Jin Bao sighed. It wasn't that he didn't want to protect them before. He really couldn't fight against the entirety of Blood Fawn camp by himself. When he thought of the power of one person, Brother Wu Jiangwo was really terrifying. The power some people had. On the 1st floor, more than 100 survivors had gathered together. Lu Mao, who had dejectedly leaned against the door for a while, also walked in. Jin Bao's team arrived at the same time. "Captain, What's the situation? You said that the Blood Fawn camp was completely destroyed. Is that true? A girl wearing tight leather pants and a ponytail walked in. She exuded a heroic spirit, and it was obvious that she was not to be trifled with. How do I explain this? In any case, before you arrived, a person killed all the awakened ones in Blood Fawn camp. Alone. All of them are headless corpses now. That's right. Madman was also killed by him. Jin Bao explained. What? Lu Shuang and the other team members behind her were all shocked. One person, a single awakened, destroyed the entire Blood Fawn camp? Captain Jin, did you become stupid after eating zombie meat? Lu Shuang's face was filled with disbelief. At the mention of zombie meat, Jin Bao felt nauseated. The corpses are all here. If you don't believe me, you can take a look for yourself. Jin Bao glared at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang didn't believe him. She ran to the stairs with her long legs. Jin Bao turned to face the 100 survivors. Everyone, I'm Jin Bao, former police captain. The people behind me are my old colleagues. I'm sure everyone is confused about the current situation. So lend me your ears for a minute. Please bear with me. The Blood Fawn camp provides zombie meat for everyone to eat. Jin Bao paused and decided to give the survivors some time to digest those words. Ugh. Nauseating. Most people couldn't help but vomit on the spot. F***CK. I was wondering why they got so much meat. It's zombie meat. I'm F***King puking out my guts. Where are they? I'm going to kill them. So disgusting. I'll never eat meat again in my life. The survivors vomited and complained. Jin Bao glanced at them and saw that they had vomited enough, so he continued. Everyone, the people of the Blood Fawn camp, are all dead. As for your physical conditions, don't worry. The fact that you didn't mutate on the spot means that you're relatively fine. It shouldn't be a big problem if you don't continue to eat it in the future. Also, your immune system has proven itself robust. Even if you get scratched by zombies, you might not be infected. This is good news. Of course, don't let the zombies bite you. Sometimes you might not be poisoned to death, but you'll still bleed to death. As for where you will go after that, Jin Bao turned around and exchanged glances with his teammates. Then he nodded. We have a camp near the grain station. Although there isn't any big fish or meat, we do have rice. I don't know if you're willing to join. Jin Bao asked in all seriousness. As public servants, they would do their best to help the citizens as long as the conditions allowed it. This was the sense of duty that had been engraved in their bones. The survivors looked at each other. After experiencing the disgusting Blood Fawn camp, they really wanted to find a proper shelter. Jin Bao and the others were no longer police officers, but they still carried the same sense of duty. No matter what, it was definitely better than the Blood Fawn camp. As for eating white rice, after experiencing the disgusting zombie meat, what could be more fragrant than white rice? Captain Jin, we'll follow you. Yes, the police are still the most reliable nowadays. In the future, if you need to do odd jobs or anything else, just tell us. It'll be fine as long as we have food. The survivors all expressed their opinions. I'll join as well. I'm unawakened. Lu Mao also raised his hand. After this incident, he was already a little disappointed in women. On the contrary, a man with an upright aura like Jin Bao that gave him a sense of security. Good job, little brother. This way, our strength will increase again. Jin Bao was very happy. He had seen Lu Mao come to this campsite, so he had acknowledged his character. In this world, the awakened were much more useful than guns. This was the experience they had gained from many dangerous situations. Little Gua, Little Li, arrange transport. Prepare to bring the survivors back to the base. Jin Bao ordered. Two young men in uniform nodded and began to clear the crowd. At this moment, Lu Shuang, who was wearing leather pants and a leather jacket, walked down the stairs. She seemed unsure of herself. Damn it, Madman is really dead. I wanted to finish him off with my own hands. Lu Shuang hit the handrail of the stairs, and it fell apart. All right, I know you want to personally take revenge for your senior. I also want to. Who knew that someone so powerful would come by? He emptied the camp all by himself, smashed all their skulls in. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't hear anything from downstairs, I would have thought that he had brought a shotgun. Jin Bao couldn't help but sigh. One person killing over 30 awakened ones, all of their brains smashed. Lu Shuangshuang's face was filled with dissatisfaction. Before the apocalypse, she had already relied on her own efforts to become the strongest fighter in the team. Recently, she was also one of the first to be awakened in the team. She had also achieved another breakthrough in her strength. Even Jin Bao might not be her match. Now, a person who was able to kill over 30 awakened ones had appeared. Lu Shuangshuang's competitive spirit was triggered. Captain Jin, what's his name? One day, I will surpass him. Lu Shuangshuang clenched her fists. She wanted to become stronger and protect more citizens. He's Wu Jiangwo. Jin Bao lit a cigarette and looked into the distance. This name would one day resound throughout the entire city. Wang Ran nudged Su Xiaoyu and Lin Momo's heads. Both of them at once? It seemed that he was really hungry. Master, why did we bring back so many cigarettes? Lin Momo looked at the back of the car and asked. To non-smokers, it's nothing much. But to smokers, it's hard currency. Go back and store them in a room with air conditioning, so they don't get wet. Wang Ran smiled. Cigarettes had to be traded out little by little. If he traded them in bulk, they would not be worth much. If he offered too little of it at a time, more people would be forced to quit smoking. Demand would plummet all the same. It took some skills to balance this. By the way, how's everything in the base while I was away? Wang Ran asked. Don't worry, Master. The girls in the flight attendant class treat this place as heaven. They're making sure it remains that way. There's no need to prod them. They'll take the initiative to do the extra cleaning. Oh, there's the matter of that sugar mommy Tang Tang. She's a bit lazy. She just eats, drinks, and plays games every day. Lin Momo snitched. It's fine. That's precisely why she's our sugar mommy. I'm collecting rent from her. It's 1 gold bar a day right now. That's nothing to her. When she gets used to this place, I'll increase the price to 10 a day. She'll be squeezed dry very soon. Wang Ran smiled. This was like a free mobile game. First, it would attract you to play, and then force you to spend money when you couldn't stop. Master, that's awesome. Lin Momo's eyes were full of stars. All right, we can't relax on the security. Wang Ran reminded her. The motorcycle he had seen at the beach had always made Wang Ran feel a little uncomfortable. Should I set up some roadblocks on the road by the sea? Sigh, that's a good idea. Since he had claimed the entire place, the road was his. It was very reasonable to set up a few electric roadblocks and probes. This way, if a vehicle were to approach, they would know at once. If surveillance cameras were installed along the road, the number of aerial surveillance drones could be appropriately reduced. Not bad, not bad. I'll go back and talk to the security guard. No, the head of security, Zhao Kedong, about this. He studied computer science, so installing surveillance cameras should be within his scope of expertise. Soon, Wang Ran returned to the island. After helping his lackeys unload the goods, Wang Ran returned to the villa and took a hot shower. Today's battle had been rather satisfying, even though it was a one-sided massacre. Where exactly do I stand right now? There are the regular awakens, then those pus-drinking freaks who were a step above them, and I'm a step above those guys, so if that's the extent of the power scale, I'm a third rank or something. Wang Ran felt a little helpless. He only knew that he was strong enough to kill them in seconds, all of them. It had been really hard to tell just where the strength disparity was. He could at the very least tell the difference between Xiaoyu and Momo by the color of their pupils. What about awakened ones? What would be the indication? Let's go online and check the post later. That forum has been quite useful. The power outage is coming soon. I don't know how many more days I can use the internet. After Wang Ran took a shower, he immediately put on a bathrobe for convenience. There was no need to be afraid of power outages on the island, but he would not be able to do anything about the internet. Now, he could only turn on his computer every day and try his best to farm for resources. Wang Ran took a bottle of iced Coke and sat on the sofa in the villa. He used his laptop to browse the forum. Shocking. The Blood Fawn camp is feeding the survivors zombie meat. This post was right on top. There's a post already? Wang Ran couldn't help but smile as he clicked on the post. According to the latest news, it has been reported that the bottom-level survivors of the Blood Fawn camp were given zombie meat, not very fresh, to eat. The death rate is up to 50%. Fortunately, this evil camp has been destroyed in one fell swoop. It is said that an awakened by the name of Wu Jiangwo single-handedly slaughtered more than 30 awakened ones from the Bloodfang camp. Magnificent! Wang Ran smiled and looked in the direction of the villas. Wu Jiangwo probably had no idea what's coming his way. Wang Ran continued to browse the posts. Suddenly, he felt someone climb onto his leg. He looked away from the computer and saw that it was Xiaoyu and Momo. They were probably really hungry. Master continued to surf the internet. Don't mind us. Su Xiaoyu had just washed her hair and tied it up in Wang Ran's favorite bun. Lin Momo had tied her hair into a slanted ponytail. They all had hairstyles that made it easy for their meals. Wang Ran nodded and placed the computer on his stomach. Xiaoyu and Momo started to get busy, and Wang Ran continued searching for posts. The division of strength between zombies and awakened. Wang Ran's eyes lit up. He finally found what he wanted to see. This post was posted by the moderator of the forum. He had posted many popular informative posts before, and they were mostly accurate, so he had proven himself rather credible. Zombies can be classified according to their ranks. 1. Ordinary zombies. It feeds on the flesh and blood of any living being, and when it's extremely hungry, it will eat other zombies. If they don't eat for a long time, they will gradually lose their mobility, but their vitality is much stronger than ordinary humans. 2. Mutant zombies. Evolved zombies that appear under special conditions. Their special characteristics are that their pupils have a circle of silver, and when their strength is further enhanced, it will turn into gold. They are more common in places with a high population density. According to speculation, there's a high probability of mutation after eating a large number of humans or zombies. Mutated zombies are powerful and have a degree of self-awareness. They're very difficult to deal with. Some of the mutated zombies have evolved and gained some special abilities. For example, the ability to jump like frogs, the ability to spray corrosive venom, super strength, sharp claws, and so on. When normal people encounter mutated zombies, they have almost no chance of survival. 3. High-level mutant zombies. Sightings have been reported in several countries. They're extremely powerful, have full sentience, and have their own strategies. At the same time, they can also control other zombies, including the mutant zombies. These beings will occupy a fixed base and continue to develop their strength. Without a certain amount of military power or a large number of awakened ones, it will be difficult to fight them. 4th, corpse emperors. At this point, it is only a personal speculation. They had not shown up yet, but we cannot rule out that possibility. They will have the power to level small countries. Among the zombie ranks, there should still be some transitional subranks. There is no clear data to distinguish them. Due to the ban on guns in our country, we have had a hard time arming ourselves. We can only rely on the awakened to fight against mutated zombies. It is safe to say that a regular person and a regular zombie are equally matched. One has inhuman, dogged vitality, while the other has smarts and tactics. An awakened would have a good chance against a regular mutated zombie. However, a mutated zombie with special abilities could become a threat. After an awakener awakens, every time he breaks through, his strength will increase by a large margin. Because there are no specific physical characteristics, we'll never be able to tell unless they reveal it themselves. Currently, the strongest in our country are Wu Jiangwo from N City and Lin Liye from B City. Wu Jiangwo single-handedly massacred Bloodfang camp and killed more than 30 awakened and 3 second-rank awakened. I'm going to guesstimate is that he's somewhere between 3rd rank and 4th rank. Lin Liye fought 6 mutated zombies alone and successfully rescued more than 500 primary school students. That would indicate the strength of a 3rd rank. According to the current data analysis, even a 4th rank metahuman is no match for a high-level mutated zombie. We must always prepare for their appearance. I hope the awakened will continue to work hard and protect our country. The post ended there. This Wu Jiangwo, he actually killed an awakened? Why did you kill your own people instead of zombies? That's too much. Are you an idiot? Go and read up on what Bloodfang Camp has done. Is Wu Jiangwo in N City? I need to get there. We'll see if he can make it to End City alive. Are silver and gold pupils the symbols of mutated zombies? Can I blend into the zombie crowd with my cosmetic contacts? Go ahead and try. It's me again. I stopped updating because I became a zombie. Now that I've become a mutated zombie, I can type again. I hope everyone will subscribe. What a gas head. Where's your Patreon? I'll send you some blood bags. Hang in there. It's fine. I caught a person who came to ask for updates. My daily meals have been settled. The following posts were getting more and more off topic, and Wang Ran did not continue reading. Xiaoyu. She already has golden eyes, so she should be able to become a high-level mutant zombie in her next upgrade. Momo's eyes are almost golden, too. Wang Ran looked down at Xiaoyu and Momo, who were busy. In End City, these two zombies of his were probably the most powerful zombies. Where does that put me? Wang Ran fell into deep thought. The Wu Jiangwo mentioned in the forum was Wang Ran himself. Between the 3rd and 4th rank. That might not be the case. If someone scored 98 points in an exam, that was his limit, but others could score 100 only because that was the maximum amount of points. This did not mean that the gap between them was only 2 points. Sigh, there's no suitable opponent for me to test, he sighed. Besides, I don't feel like I've broken through, unless it depends on how many times I've erupted. That's a lot of times. God knows how many times more I need to do it. Wang Ran helplessly shook his head. If there was no other way, he would test himself against Xiaoyu. He would have to hold back, but at least he could make an estimation. Master, I feel like I think I'm about to advance, Lin Momo suddenly said in surprise. There was already a faint warmth spreading in her body. Her energy was about to explode. Lin Momo had some experience from watching Su Xiaoyu's advancement. Next, would she scream like Sister Xiaoyu? It's so quiet in the middle of the night. She's very shy. Momo, I'll leave this to you. I'm going for a walk outside. Su Xiaoyu smirked. She wanted to give Momo some space to be alone with Wang Ran. Soon, Wang Ran and Momo were the only two people left in the villa. Lin Momo's body was burning hot, and her consciousness was gradually blurring. Just a little more. Looking at the situation, Wang Ran made sure to fire a big, powerful load. Boom! A wave of heat hit her in the face. The heck? It's raining. Lin Momo was stunned for a moment before she finally reacted. Lin Momo slowly opened her eyes. A golden line appeared in her pupils. Just like Su Xiaoyu, she had also advanced in rank. He didn't know if it was because Momo was trying to control her voice, but she didn't scream as loudly as Xiaoyu. However, her body was still very honest about the entire affair. Wang Ran's back was scratched, and there were many bloody wounds. Oh, Master, I'm sorry. Lin Momo gently stroked Wang Ran's wounds, feeling a little distressed. However, the wounds were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, Wang Ran also felt a surge of energy entering his body. Momo, in her uncontrollable fit, had scratched Wang Ran's back, empowering him in turn. A perpetual motion machine was indeed a perpetual motion machine. It was a perfect cycle. All right, put on your clothes and call Xiaoyu in. Wang Ran rubbed Lin Momo's head. He wanted to have a fight with Xiaoyu to test his strength. Lin Momo put on her clothes and ran out. Su Xiaoyu was not at the door. Lin Momo thought for a moment. She should be in the kitchen. Lin Momo ran to the kitchen again. Su Xiaoyu was indeed here. She was just about to reach for the stock in the refrigerator. Sister Xiaoyu, you're secretly drinking it. Lin Momo pouted. Please, you're drinking it fresh from him. Can't I drink some from the stock? Su Xiaoyu retorted. Lin Momo was stunned. It seemed fair. It was indeed much fresher and more delicious. Su Xiaoyu opened the can and put it to her mouth. Suddenly, Su Xiaoyu felt nauseated. Sister Xiaoyu, what's wrong? Could it be you're pregnant? Lin Momo was in the nursing department, so this was the first thing she thought of. Pregnant, my ass. Our body turns that stuff into some form of supernatural energy. How are we supposed to get pregnant? You can smell it yourself. Su Xiaoyu handed the can to Lin Momo. Lin Momo sniffed the can. Indeed, something was wrong. Could have gone bad. We did store it for several days. Lin Momo also frowned slightly. Looks like I'll have to finish my stock as soon as possible. I can only save it for 3 days. The red wine lasts a lot longer. The milk, not so. Su Xiaoyu said, after some thought. Yes, you're right, Sister Xiaoyu. Ah, right? Master is calling you over. You want to fight. Lin Momo remembered why she had come out. Fight? What kind of fight? Su Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. How would I know? You should hurry back. Lin Momo urged. All right, I'll be leaving then. You can deal with this bottle. Su Xiaoyu ran toward the villa with her long legs. She wondered what kind of battle was waiting for her. How should I deal with this? Ah, I got it. Lin Momo's eyes lit up as she thought of Xiao Jin. Last time, Xiao Jin had fought her for food, so it should lap it up fine too. As for the problem of it being a little stale, dogs should be able to stomach it. Lin Momo carried the inventory to Xiao Jin's villa. Although Xiao Jin was only a month old, it was already as big as a 5-month-old golden retriever. As soon as Lin Momo entered, she saw Xiao Jin swimming around in the pool leisurely. Ever since it came to the island, Xiao Jin's daily life consisted of basking in the sun, swimming, eating meat, and sleeping. Such a wonderful life. A dog's life always seemed a little boring. Seeing Lin Momo, Xiao Jin jumped out of the pool. Lin Momo was the one who usually cooked for Xiao Jin, so it liked her. Upon seeing the jar in Lin Momo's hand, Xiao Jin's eyes lit up. This was the milk that made one stronger. You're the one who wanted this. I don't care if you get a stomachache. Lin Momo carefully poured the milk into the food bowl. Xiao Jin immediately pounced over and began to lap it up. Slurp, slurp. It seemed to enjoy it. Lin Momo nodded in relief. Dogs had sharp senses, so it should not have expired. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the next door. Lin Momo was shocked. An enemy invasion? Lin Momo immediately rushed out. Many girls from a flight attendant class also ran out, barely dressed. That villa of Wang Ran's. The entire wall had collapsed. Su Xiaoyu was half kneeling in the dust, gasping for air. From the looks of it, she was also slightly injured. Then, Wang Ran walked over and extended his hand to Su Xiaoyu. Su Xiaoyu's sharp eyes instantly softened, and she placed her hand in Wang Ran's. Master, you're so powerful. I can't beat you at all. Su Xiaoyu stood up with Wang Ran's help. Just now, Su Xiaoyu had used all her strength at Wang Ran's request, but she was still not Wang Ran's match. Of course, Su Xiaoyu was much stronger than the people from the Blood Fawn camp. At least, she could make Wang Ran sweat. Ah, if you guys are fighting, then fight. Why are you making such a big commotion? Lin Momo looked at the ruins of the villa, depressed. We only have a few dozen villas on the island. If one of them is destroyed, every time we fight, we'll have to stay in the guest rooms in the main building in the future. All right. The rest of you, stop watching. Hurry up and go back to rest. Lin Momo dispersed the scene like a head maid. Momo, pack up. Let's move to another building. Wang Ran smiled and walked over to rub Lin Momo's head. After the battle, just now, Wang Ran could roughly estimate his combat power. If he used 50% of his strength, he would be able to defeat Su Xiaoyu. If he encountered the high-level mutated zombie that was mentioned in the post, he should be able to fight it. Soon, the three of them moved into an empty villa next door. Today, the three of them had all become stronger, and their battles at night was naturally also earth-shaking. It was a good thing that they had restrained themselves. Otherwise, they would have to move to another villa. The next morning, when Wang Ran woke up, his two zombies were no longer there. They probably went to clean up the ruins. Wang Ran first went to the big swimming pool in front of the main building to have breakfast. Number 2, Fang Shutian, was serving him. Wang Ran felt that she seemed to bend down in front of him, be it intentionally or unintentionally, or turn around and kneel on the ground to pick up things. This scene reminded Wang Ran of a certain plot in a film. Terrifying. If not for the obvious improvement in his physical fitness, he would have died at the hands of his two zombies last night. And now, one of the flight attendants was trying to get her hands on him. I must hide. Wang Ran hurriedly jogged to the elevator and headed to the top floor. After breakfast, he would go for a swim and then go to work later. As soon as he arrived at the borderless pool, Wang Ran saw a girl in a bikini lying on a small yellow duck cushion and floating in the pool. She was probably afraid that the sunlight would be too glaring, so she even covered her face with a towel. This? Wang Ran thought for a moment. At that height, it seemed that only Tang Tang and Momo matched that height. Then, he looked at her chest. It was Momo. Wang Ran smiled, took off his clothes, and jumped into the water, swimming toward the yellow duckling. Tang Tang was very tired last night. That's right, after secretly drinking half a can, her body was suddenly filled with a large amount of energy. She had been unable to sleep well the entire night. She would either be tossing and turning in heat, or she would have strange dreams. In her dream, she realized that she was actually doing something embarrassing with Wang Ran. This shocked her. Moreover, this dream kept repeating for the entire night, and she couldn't escape. Helplessly, Tang Tang could only accept it. After a whole night, someone next door was making a commotion, cleaning up the ruins again, so Tang Tang could only come to this pool to hide. She didn't expect to fall asleep as soon as she lay down. She was in a deep sleep. It was so deep that she didn't even notice someone swimming to her side. Momo, aren't you afraid of getting sunburned if you sleep like this? Wang Ran took a tube of sunblock from the shore, poured it into his hand, and slowly applied it on Momo. There was very little fabric in the way, so it was very easy to put on. As he applied the cream, her body started to heat up. It was obvious that Wang Ran was too skilled. Momo was constantly wriggling. Annoying, is this dream coming again? Tang Tang muttered in her heart. Come, come. She was used to it. Since she couldn't resist, she should just enjoy it. Tang Tang, who was in a daze, grabbed Wang Ran's hand. F*CK. It's you. Tang Tang and Wang Ran exclaimed at the same time. The two of them were instantly sent flying far away. The atmosphere was awkward and embarrassing. Uncle, I knew you were a pervert. While I was asleep. Bikini? Where did my bikini go? Tang Tang furiously covered herself. How the F*CK would I know it's you? I thought you were Momo. Wang Ran explained. This matter. He was indeed responsible, but Tang Tang was the main one to blame. It seemed that he had just seen her a few days ago. She was still a little rich woman with an airport runway for a chest. How did it? Did she eat something that was so nourishing? Tang Tang was instantly speechless. After Wang Ran said that, she finally understood why Wang Ran had touched her. It seemed like he really couldn't be blamed for being mistaken. Her own chest, who knew that it would change from A to D overnight. Of course, it was still a little different from Lin Momo's E, but it was hard to distinguish if they were not standing side by side. Moreover, while I was in a daze just now, I thought I was dreaming, and I seemed to be quite active. It's so embarrassing. Tang Tang's face was burning hot. This matter will take on half the responsibility, so let's not talk about it anymore. How about it? Wang Ran suggested. Yes, I think what you said makes sense. The more Tang Tang thought about it, the more embarrassed she became. She nodded decisively. It was just a few centimeters away from collision. It was a good thing they had discovered early. This was really, if the other girls knew about this, she would be too ashamed to show her face. By the way, what did you eat to become so big? I have to recommend this to Xiaoyu. It would really, really complete her. Wang Ran touched his chin and said, No. Tang Tang's ears were almost smoking when she heard that. What I ate, they had a lot more of it, fresh. Only God knows why I'm the only one who grew bigger. How annoying. Give me back my bikini. I'm heading home. Tang Tang covered her chest with one hand and stretched out the other hand. Wang Ran searched the water for a while and found the upper half of the bikini floating in the water. He threw it to Tang Tang. Tang Tang shrank in the water and put on her bikini. Then she went ashore with confidence. What she didn't expect was that in her daze, she had untied the lower half of the rope herself. As she stood up, the lower half floated down. It was an awkward situation. After being stunned for a while, Tang Tang picked up the bathrobe, wrapped herself in it, and fled. As it was too awkward, Wang Ran went downstairs after swimming for a while. He still had serious things to do today. The monitoring system of the coastal highway must be set up as soon as possible. If he had time, he would go to the power plant and kill all the mutated zombies there. Wang Ran took some cigarettes from the warehouse and drove Tang Tang's Ferrari to the villa. The security measures at the entrance of the villa area had been further strengthened. He could see that they had built a low wall with cement and bricks. If they encountered a large number of zombies, the wall could effectively split them up like a maze and slow them down. On top of the original wall, a circle of barbed wire of the same model as the prison wall was laid. Under Wu Jiangwo's management, the place had turned into a solid fortress. "Boss Wang Ran, you're here." Wu Jiangwo was playing cards with his underlings in the guardhouse. When he saw Wang Ran, he laid down his royal flush and ran up to meet him. "What's the matter? Why are you so happy?" Wang Ran got out of the car and asked, "Hey, Boss Wang Ran, we've all seen your heroic deeds on the forum. You massacred the entire Bloodfawn camp. King awesome," Zhu Ming said excitedly. His arm was in a cast, and he looked much better. He believed that he would be able to do some simple activities in less than half a month. The boss was too brutal. He actually headed for the enemy's camp and destroyed it. With such a leader, everyone respected him from the bottom of their hearts. Of course, the Bloodfawn camp was notorious, so there was no psychological burden in destroying it. "Boss, if you want to go crazy, just go ahead. Why did you use my name? Everyone is going to have crazy expectations for me." Wu Jiangwo was a little embarrassed. He always felt that he had taken advantage of Wang Ran. They'll just remain rumors. They will bring trouble. I don't want to deal with it." Wang Ran waved his hand. "Oh." Wu Jiangwo nodded, but he still felt that something was not right. Rumors would bring trouble. Wouldn't trouble come to me? Forget it. I have boss's protection anyway. What's there to be afraid of? I'm here today to strengthen the security in our area. I plan to set up a surveillance camera every 200 meters on this coastal road. I only need about 20 of them to control the situation within a 4-kilometer radius. This way, we'll be the first to know if there are outsiders. All right, where's Zhao Dong? He studies computer science, so he should know about this. Take down the surveillance cameras in the villa area and use them directly. We don't need so many surveillance cameras internally. Also, install a railing that can automatically recognize license plates at both ends of the road. It won't physically stop cars, but if anyone dares to break it, don't let them go if you don't compensate us with something valuable." Wang Ran ordered. "All right, let's get to work, brothers," Wu Jiangwo shouted. A dozen people immediately surrounded him. Now, they were very enthusiastic about doing things. It wasn't for the reward. They now all had a strong sense of belonging to the base. As long as it was for the good of the base, they were willing to take part. "Here, take these and share it with the brothers who are working." Wang Ran took out several packs of cigarettes from the car and threw it to Wu Jiangwo. "CK. You got it. Boss Wang Ran, I love you. I told you he's the best." Everyone's enthusiasm grew. Not long after, they arrived at the gate with more than 20 surveillance cameras. Zhao Dong was also very proactive. The last time he went out, he did not awaken, which made him feel very guilty. Therefore, whenever assignments came to him, he would come over quickly. The group of people drove around and started to install the cameras in one direction. "Boss, there are a few windmills by the sea to generate electricity. The streetlights on this road are powered by wind, so we don't have to worry even if there's a power outage throughout the city. We only need to lay a line for data transmission. I've already taken the wires from the neighborhood." Zhao Dong was getting more and more reliable. Wang Ran nodded in satisfaction. "All right, you guys go ahead. I'll go out for a walk." Seeing that everything was going well, Wang Ran drove back to the island first. After lunch, he would go to the power plant to take a look in the afternoon. After all, Wang Ran did not allow powerful zombies to dwell in City. It was lunchtime. They made beef noodles for lunch. The island still had ample reserves, so almost half of the bowl was beef. It was quite satisfying. The cook, number 8, had some flour on her face and the tip of her nose. It made Wang Ran suspicious. Alas, as expected, the girls in the flight attendant class are all eyeing me covetously, except for Wu Jiasen. She seemed to be deliberately keeping a distance from him, but he didn't know why. After eating the noodles, Wang Ran returned to the villa and planned to change his shoes. You can't fight in the cotton slippers of the hotel. Although his sneakers were in tatters, he could still wear it. At most, he could just take a look at the specialty store on the way. In this environment, no one would fight for the shoes. When he returned to the villa, Wang Ran saw his black and red Air Jordans. The places that were originally stained with blood had been wiped clean, and the cracked openings had also been carefully sewn. Momo, did you do this? Wang Ran was a little surprised. It wasn't me, Jiesin did it. I think her fingers were cut a few times while she was sewing the shoes. Lin Momo answered. On the edge of the cliff, number 1 Wu Jiesin and number 2 Fong Shutian sat there, enjoying the sea breeze. Jiesin, is your hand all right? There are so many cuts. Fong Shutian exclaimed as she held Wu Jiesin's hand. Ah, all of you are talented. You can cook, and Xin can do the laundry. What about me? I've almost become an ornament. I can only find something within my power to do. Wu Jiesin looked at her fingers that were covered in band-aids. She had thought that sewing shoes would be easy, but who knew that it would be so difficult? It was much harder than sewing clothes anyway. The pain was one thing, but the most important thing was the embarrassment. She was clumsy and didn't know anything. What if Wang Ran disdained her for being useless? Moreover, she did not know if Wang Ran would even wear shoes that had been sewn. By the way, Jiesin, you're obviously very concerned about Master. Why are you always so cold to him? Fong Shutian asked curiously. Since when did I care about him? I just wanted to. I'm just looking for something to do. I was afraid of being driven out by him. She was lying. She was a little flustered. Wu Jiesin smoothed her hair, which had been ruffled by the sea breeze, revealing her perfect side profile. The school bell was the school bell, and there were no flaws in her appearance. Even the girls couldn't help but take a few more glances. For Wu Jiesin, it was impossible for her not to feel grateful and worship for Wang Ran after staying here for a few days. However, Wu Jiesin remembered that she had once made a vow to herself. If she liked Wang Ran, she would run 3 laps around the island naked. Therefore, she had to hold on. She did not want to run around naked. It was too embarrassing. Yo, nice spot. A warm and magnetic voice came from behind the two. Arg, Master. Wu Jiesin and Fong Shutian stood up at the same time and turned around. Wu Jiesin lost her balance in her panic and missed a step. Wang Ran immediately grabbed her hand and pulled. Wu Jiesin was instantly pulled into Wang Ran's arms. Oh dear, I seem to have something to do. I'll be leaving first. Fong Shutian smiled evilly and left. Wu Jiesin could not move in Wang Ran's arms, and her face turned red. If you fall from here, you'll have to swim for half an hour before you can find a place to go ashore. Be careful next time. Wang Ran released Wu Jiesin and reminded her softly. I know. Wu Jiesin lowered her head and mumbled. As a girl from the flight attendant class, Wu Jiesin was very tall. As the two of them stood face to face, their auras intertwined. Let me see your hand, Wang Ran said in a commanding tone. Wu Jiesin was stunned and raised her hand subconsciously. Wang Ran held Wu Jiesin's hand and brought it in front of him. There were band-aids on all 3 of her fingers. This meant that there were at least 3 wounds. Wang Ran tore off the band-aid on Wu Jiesin's index finger and put the tip of her finger into his mouth. His body fluids could help Xiaoyu and the others heal their wounds quickly, and it was probably effective for humans as well. Hey, you. Wu Jiesin was so shocked that she forgot to pull her finger back. This action was a little too ambiguous. Her master. Her relationship with Wang Ran had not reached this stage yet. However, as Wang Ran continued sucking, Wu Jiesin felt the pain on her fingertips lessen. It was magical. Very quickly, Wang Ran was done with all 3 of her fingers. Wu Jiesin retracted her hand and saw that all the wounds had disappeared. Master, you're amazing. Wu Jiesin complimented him subconsciously. If someone else heard this, they would definitely misunderstand. Let Momo do this kind of work in the future. She's better at it. If you want to be productive, you can take the girls to train their combat skills. I have all the learning resources on my hard drive. All right, not the folder with learning materials, but the one labeled actual MMA. Wang Ran reminded her. If she opened the wrong folder, he would be in trouble. Oh, I know. Wu Jiesin nodded. She also knew that Wang Ran would occasionally go out, and the safety of the island depended on the girls. When she lowered her head, Wu Jiesin glanced at Wang Ran's feet. It was the Air Jordans. He actually put it on. That's great. Wang Ran didn't stay any longer and turned to leave. Wu Jiasin looked at Wang Ran's back and felt a warmth in her heart. Her hard work had been acknowledged. Ah, what the hell? Why would she be moved? I made that vow. Wu Jiasin patted her face to clear her mind. Wang Ran took his massive hammer and walked to the door. Uncle, wait. Tang Tang ran over with her equally massive axe. Uncle, are you going out? Take me, take me. Tang Tang jumped into the front passenger seat without saying anything. What happened in the morning had been very awkward. The place I'm going to is quite dangerous. You? Wang Ran was a little hesitant. In his opinion, Tang Tang was nothing more than an awakened who had drunk his blood a few times. She might not even be as strong as Wu Jiangwo, who had broken through twice. Ah, don't worry. I'm very strong now. Just let me go out and kill some zombies. I'm bored to death at home. Tang Tang pleaded. I'm afraid of trouble. Wang Ran was about to turn her down. I'll pay more. 100. Tang Tang patted her leg. Fasten your seatbelt. Wang Ran stepped on the accelerator after she finished speaking. The Ferrari roared as it sped along the seaside road. Tang Tang felt that her chest was a little tight. Ever since her chest had gotten bigger, her clothes didn't fit her anymore. No matter how she wore them, they felt tight. Especially when an A-cup bra was forced upon a pair of D-cups. It was indeed a little uncomfortable. In addition, she had fastened her seatbelt. It was so uncomfortable. Moreover, she didn't know if Uncle was driving so fast on purpose. Her chest was shaking so much that they were about to jump out. When they arrived in the city, Tang Tang finally felt a little more comfortable. After all, the roads in the city were filled with cars and wandering zombies, so it was impossible to drive that fast. As they passed by a high-end residential area, a can fell from the sky and hit the Ferrari's engine cover. Arg! My car! Tang Tang's heart ached. The car had to be sent to Italy to be sprayed. Italy had probably fallen long ago. This was F*** King. Wang Ran raised his head and looked around. On the top floor of a 5-story villa, a 10-year-old brat was sticking his head out and giving Wang Ran the middle finger. F***CK. He did it on purpose. Wang Ran immediately turned off the engine and got out of the car with his hammer. Hey, Uncle, don't you think? Tang Tang was shocked. She didn't have any psychological burden at all when it came to killing zombies and bad people. However, the other party was only a child. I didn't say I was going to kill him. I should at least give him a loving education. Wang Ran smiled. Wang Ran gave the devilish brat the middle finger. The devilish brat was still feeling very smug, and he threw an apple core down. The apple core almost hit Tang Tang. F***CK, stinky brat, I'm going to kill you. This time, Tang Tang had lost her patience. The two of them stomped toward the wall of the community in an aggressive manner. With the hammer and axe, the wall collapsed. The naughty child upstairs was shocked and immediately shrank back. He didn't expect to have provoked such violent individuals. What if they rushed up? Wang Ran and Tang Tang climbed over the ruins of the wall and arrived at the building. There were many wandering zombies around, and they were all attracted by the sound. Kill count challenge. As soon as Tang Tang saw the zombies, she became interested and began to swing wildly like a monster hunter. All right, let's see what you got. After Wang Ran finished speaking, he stood there with his hammer and watched the show. It had to be said that Tang Tang's strength was indeed explosive. All the zombies in front of her were dismembered with one swing of the axe. They stood no chance. Is Tang Tang perhaps gifted? I don't remember her drinking blood that many times. Why does she seem to be even stronger than Wu Jiangwo? Wang Ran touched his chin, impressed. Soon, dozens of zombies around her were dismembered by Tang Tang. Arg, Uncle, you're being lazy. Tang Tang put down the axe, put her hands on her hips, and pouted. He had clearly agreed to compete to see who could kill more, but in the end, she had to do it alone. He made her do free labor. I saw you killing so happily, so I left the opportunity to you. Let's go. Wang Ran gave a few perfunctory words, picked up the hammer, and walked to the front door of the building. It seemed that the owners here had done their best to reinforce the building below. The front door and the floor-to-ceiling windows on both sides were blocked. However, this was not a problem for Wang Ran. who was holding a hammer as large as himself. Boom! Boom! With just 2 strikes, the door and the pile of junk behind it were sent flying. "Let's go," he said. Wang Ran took the lead and walked ahead. It was a 5-story villa. There were 2 households on the first underground floor, first floor and second floor, and another 2 on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors. Wang Ran's target was the unit on the upper right. Wang Ran went straight to the door. Without saying a word, he directly swung the hammer and smashed it on the door. A loud bang. The door and the person behind it flew into the house. It was obvious that the person had heard the commotion downstairs and wanted to see what was going on outside through the peephole. Who knew that the moment he touched the door, he would be sent flying. "Who's there?" A few brawny men shot up from their game of cards, picked up their weapons, and looked at the door vigilantly. Wang Ran walked in with his hammer. "F***, it smells." Wang Ran frowned. The room was filled with the smell of smoke. This situation looked like the gathering place of hooligans of the past. The ground was filled with cigarette butts and bottles, and playing cards were everywhere. These brawny men didn't look like they could afford this kind of leap-story villa. They were technically squatters. "Who the F*** are you? Do you want to die?" A tattooed man with a fire axe in one hand and a watermelon knife in the other led the way. "That brat threw something at our car just now." "The car." Wang Ran looked at Tang Tang and let her continue. "It's a Ferrari Enzo. It'll cost at least $1 million to repaint it at the original factory. But I don't think the original factory would still be open for business, so you'll have to be the one paying up." Tang Tang said in a serious manner as she put her hands on the axe handle. "You think I'm stupid? You're trying to extort me. Don't you know what I used to do?" The tattooed man raised his axe and pointed it at Tang Tang's face. The men behind him laughed. They were scammers and extorters, and their scope of business was very wide. Blackmailing people was a common thing. They had claimed this house by asking the brat to act pitifully and trick them into opening the door after the doomsday. The owners had been thrown down the building to feed the zombies. "Uncle, can these people be killed?" Tang Tang turned her head and asked. She didn't have any psychological barrier when it came to killing zombies, but she still had some qualms about killing other humans. "I can tell they're not good people just by looking at their faces." "Do your best," Wang Ran said indifferently as he leaned against the wall. "It's not bad to have a sugar mommy I can laze about." "Huh? Do you really think that you can kill people with a cosplay weapon?" The man couldn't help but laugh. The hammer looked dangerous, but the axe, on the other hand, was being hefted about by a little girl. It couldn't be made of plastic, right? At that moment, the brat also stuck his head out from the stairs. He had been throwing trash at the zombies and people passing by for fun the past few days. He didn't expect to actually attract people here. He was still a little flustered. However, they had the advantage in numbers, so they shouldn't be killed by the other party, right? "Son, come here. Today, I'll let you experience the cruelty of this society. Kill the men, leave the women. Son, you're 14 this year, right? I'll let you have a taste later." The tattooed man laughed. The devilish brat's eyes lit up. Girl, could it finally be real? The grapefruit in the room had already started to stink after he was done with it. He wiped his drool and walked behind the tattooed man with an expectant look. This girl was quite pretty. Her chest was pretty large. It would definitely be very refreshing to play. At that moment, the sound of heavy footsteps came from outside the door again. A dozen or so people with tattoos rushed into the house. "Boss, what's the situation? The door downstairs seems to have been blown up." These people were in cahoots with the tattooed man. They had taken over the building on the day of the apocalypse. The owners of the 4 houses had been killed by them, and they had taken over the houses. There was a lot of food in the villa, and their days were quite comfortable. They only regretted not having any women around. A 40-year-old female owner couldn't stand their exertions and died the next day. Over the past few days, they could only rely on themselves to solve their problems. A few pieces of trash barged in. "You guys just watch. After I've dealt with them, my son will get the woman first, then we'll share." The tattooed man held an axe and a watermelon knife, and even did a flourish with his weapons. The eyes of the people around him lit up. They finally had a woman to play with. These few days had been torturous. A good-looking hooligan was almost in tears. Tang Tang frowned again. This group of people was very disgusting. She had only wanted to break their limbs and teach them a lesson. But now it seemed it wouldn't be too much to kill them all. Tang Tang kicked her massive axe up into her hands. The tattooed man suddenly had a bad feeling. The tattooed man had a lot of fighting experience. From the friction between the axe and the floor, he could tell that the axe was not light. It was definitely not made of plastic. This big-breasted lowly could actually swing such a heavy axe? It seemed like he couldn't be careless. He had to take this seriously. The tattooed man planned more than 10 attack routes in his mind. Swish! Tang Tang moved. She rushed forward, raised her axe high, and chopped down. The tattooed man was still hesitating on how to attack when the axe arrived in front of him. The tattooed man's left shoulder to the right waist was completely severed, with the crisp sound of the watermelon knife falling to the ground. Half of the tattooed man's body fell to the ground. The lower half of his body also fell down after a second. Fresh blood and internal organs splattered all over the ground. Daddy! The brat was so scared that his pupils began to flicker. Boss! F***CK. You actually killed our boss. The hooligans became nervous. Tang Tang's move was really too brutal. She did not hesitate to kill a living person. How much strength did she have? Avenge the boss. Everyone, attack. There are only 2 of them. Don't be afraid. Someone in the crowd shouted. One of the hooligans rushed directly at Tang Tang. As his head left his body, he saw everyone else running towards the door, including the person who had shouted. But Wang Ran already stood by door. With a swing of the sledgehammer, he directly smashed a person's head. It sunk into his shoulders and stopped at his lower abdomen. The others were so frightened that they immediately stopped in their tracks. This was even more brutal than the axe. In front of them was a brutal sledgehammer, and behind them was a terrifying great axe. They were at wit's end. There's no way to run. Let's fight. Someone shouted. This time, he really went for it. The punks mustered their courage and charged at Wang Ran and Tang Tang. Unfortunately, they were all ordinary people. In front of Wang Ran and Tang Tang, this bit of speed and strength could not even be considered as elementary school students. Soon, they were all killed. The devilish brat was the only one left. He stood there in a daze. His legs were trembling, and there was a pale yellow liquid around his feet. It looked like he had peed himself. Because his father was the leader of the gangsters, he was used to being arrogant. At school, he often bullied his classmates and took advantage of girls. No one dared to stop him. Who would have thought that throwing trash at a car would cause him so much trouble? Uncle, should we kill this one? Tang Tang turned around and asked. This brat was only a few years younger than her. Tang Tang was a little hesitant. Do as you see fit. Anyway, it's your car he damaged. Wang Ran shrugged his shoulders. Tang Tang thought for a moment. Smashing a car was not a crime worthy of death. But this devilish brat actually wanted to take advantage of her. This was too much. That was my first time. How can trash like you think about it? Tang Tang picked up the axe, lifted it up, and aimed between the child's legs. Large amounts of blood spurted out. Uncle, let's go. Tang Tang walked to the door without looking back. The devilish brat endured the severe pain and picked up the watermelon knife on the ground, trying to attack Tang Tang from behind. In the end, he accidentally stepped on his father's intestines and fell forward. The watermelon knife pierced through his throat. The two of them went downstairs and returned to the car. Oh my, I saw a few bags of rice in their living room just now. It's a pity that they didn't take them away. Tang Tang suddenly patted her forehead. Why don't you look outside and see what car we took here? Does it even have a compartment? Wang Ran asked. Oh, right. Tang Tang nodded. All right, there's a modified armored Hummer in my dad's villa. It's powerful and robust. It'll be fine even if we drive off-road. It's a pity that I'm not tall enough to drive it. Why don't you go fetch it when we go back? The prodigal Tang Tang said after thinking for a while. F***CK. Why didn't you tell me you had such a good car? Wang Ran was overjoyed. A modified armored Hummer. It was like a tank for the tarmac. It would definitely feel good to drive. I want it. Uncle, I can't just give it to you for free. Tang Tang raised her head. All right, but drink less. Wang Ran stretched out a finger to Tang Tang. Tang Tang took a small bite and slowly sucked. A weak flow of energy flowed into Tang Tang's body. This is not good. Its effect can't be compared to the other one. Tang Tang thought to herself. Tang Tang was very conflicted now. As an anime and video game lover, Tang Tang's desire for strength was very strong. Power made her very happy and excited. But the method to obtain said power, it was a little. If she wanted to continue growing stronger, drinking blood alone was too slow. However, if she didn't drink blood, then she could only drink. She was so embarrassed. Tang Tang had already experienced it many times in her dreams. In the morning, it also happened by accident. But for Tang Tang to do it for real, she was still a little shy. Conflicted, extremely conflicted. Tang Tang peeked at Wang Ran. The side profile of him driving seriously was quite pleasing to the eye. If something really happened between them, she could live with it. Arg, what am I thinking? I'm still young. Tang Tang's little face blushed. Wang Ran was driving seriously, so he naturally didn't know what Tang Tang was thinking about. Soon, they arrived near the power plant. Damn, so many zombies? Wang Ran couldn't help but exclaim. From the car to the entrance of the power plant, there were only 500 meters, but that span of ground was filled with hundreds of zombies. They were all slowly moving toward the power plant. The sound of Wang Ran's engine attracted some nearby zombies to knock on the car window, but most of the zombies ignored them. It was impossible to drive fast with such a high zombie density. Wang Ran could only squeeze his way in at a speed of a bicycle. When they finally entered the factory gate, a huge rock suddenly came flying at the Ferrari. F***CK. Wang Ran immediately stepped on the accelerator to increase the speed. Then he stepped on the brake and the handbrake, pulling off a sharp turn. He barely dodged the huge rock. However, a few unlucky zombies were smashed into meat paste. Wang Ran raised his head and saw a burly zombie standing on a roof of the factory, staring straight at the Ferrari. F***CK. It's another one of those tanks. It seems like this place isn't just filled with the people who escaped from Computer City. Wang Ran exclaimed as he drove around the edge of the factory, trying to shake off the zombies around him. There were too many zombies, and the car door couldn't be opened. When the tank zombie on the roof of the factory saw Wang Ran running in circles, it immediately changed its direction and ran wildly on the roof, but it fell down. You're so heavy, don't climb up to the roof. Wang Ran could not help but smile. Uncle, it's so exciting. It feels like a high-difficulty dungeon. Tang Tang's eyes lit up when she saw the mutated zombie. Her axe had long been thirsty for blood. Wang Ran went behind the power plant and barely managed to get rid of the endless stream of zombies. However, when Wang Ran and Tang Tang got out of the car, the zombies rushed towards Wang Ran again. It was just a noisy block of metal, but now it contained living food. You know which way to go? Tang Tang asked while holding the axe. Sure, if we get in each other's ways, we'll only maul and crush each other. Each of us will take one side. Wang Ran flexed his fingers and dragged the hammer to the side. Tang Tang, on the other hand, carried her axe and stood on the other side, welcoming the zombies that came like a tide. Boom! Wang Ran's hammer sent a few zombies flying, and a huge impact caused many zombies behind them to fall to the ground. However, their desire for flesh and blood made them quickly get up and continue to pounce forward. Poof, poof. Every swing of Wang Ran's hammer would kill and cripple numerous zombies. However, there were too many zombies. For every few that fell, more than a dozen pounced at them. Fortunately, they weren't strong. To Wang Ran, this was just a warm-up. Tang Tang was handling herself fine. Her axe slashed at the zombies, killing a large number of them. The scene of blood and flesh flying in the air made Tang Tang fight more and more vigorously. This was life. What's the big deal about games? Is it as good as personally experiencing killing zombies? Soon, the corpses around the two of them piled up into a small mountain. Just as the hundreds of zombies were about to be wiped out, the ground started to shake. Be careful, Wang Ran said after beating up a zombie. It was probably the tank. Although Wang Ran had killed a tank before, He had relied on his skills. If he were to rely on his strength alone, there shouldn't be any problems. Boom! A tall and burly zombie directly broke through the wall of the factory and appeared between Wang Ran and Tang Tang. Human. Dead. The Tang zombie pounded the ground and roared at the two of them. Yo, this guy can even talk. It seems to be more powerful than the last one. Wang Ran smiled and flicked his hand, sending a few zombies flying. Leave this thing to me. I want a boss fight. Tang Tang's eyes lit up, and she quickly swept away all the ordinary zombies in front of her. Man, tastes foul. Woman, delicious. The tank wiped his drool, grabbed a forklift next to him, and threw it at Tang Tang. Tang Tang's eyes lit up, and she rolled to the side to avoid the forklift. F***, how dare you? Tang Tang stuck the axe into the ground, directly lifted the Ferrari next to her, and smashed it at the tank zombie. Boom! The tank zombie wasn't as agile as Tang Tang, so the Ferrari directly hit him. However, his huge arms protected his body in time. It did not cause him any serious damage. Boy, that's our ride. Wang Ran was stunned. If they wanted to fight, then so be it. Why would you throw your Ferrari at it? How am I going to go back later? The power plant was located in the wilderness. If they could not find a car, they would die. However, Tang Tang's strength did surprise Wang Ran. Had her strength increased along with her chest? Xiaoyu was strong, but in terms of raw strength, Tang Tang might have the edge. It was terrifying. Wang Ran smashed the last zombie from the three-dimensional world into the two-dimensional world with his hammer. Then, he sat on the ground and leisurely watched the show. You're dead. It's settled. The tank was completely enraged and directly rushed towards Tang Tang. This is much slower than the Thunderwolf dragon. Tang Tang stepped directly on the small mountain of zombie bodies and easily dodged the charge. Tank rushed into the pile of dead bodies, and the hill-like pile of dead bodies was instantly smashed into pieces, with limbs flying everywhere. When Tank turned around, Tang Tang was already approaching him. Tang Tang jumped high, raised the axe, and slashed. TSK. You still lack combat experience. Wang Ran took out a small bag of melon seeds and said as he munched on them. Staying in the air for too long was always a bad idea. As expected, Tank threw a heavy punch at Tang Tang. Tang Tang, who had jumped into the air, had no room to evade it and was sent flying by the punch. She smashed into the wall like a cannonball. Cough, cough, cough. Tang Tang came out of the dust. Damn it, you actually hurt me. I'm so angry, so angry. Tang Tang's eyes turned cold, and the aura around her body instantly changed. Tank saw that Tang Tang was still standing and immediately rushed over. Tang Tang wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and also rushed toward Tank. This was a direct confrontation. The distance between the two parties was quickly lessening. Wang Ran was watching with great interest. Slide kick, slide kick. Wang Ran was passing on his experience while spitting out melon seed shells. Tang Tang furrowed her brows. It required some accuracy. She did not want to take the risk. Just as Tang's fist swept across Tang Tang's face, she suddenly fell to the ground. She just dodged the fist. The axe in Tang Tang's hand just happened to swing in a circle from bottom to top, cutting Tank's underarm. Puffed. Ka! A huge arm shot up into the sky. Tank lost its balance and fell to the ground. After Tang Tang got up, she directly kicked the axe with her heel and chopped it down with great force. Loktar Ogre. Following Tang Tang's roar, the tank zombie's fragile head rolled to the ground. Yo, not bad. Wang Ran stood up and clapped his hands. Tang Tang was much more powerful than he had imagined. She was this powerful after drinking just a little blood. She was really gifted. It would be great if he could completely subdue her. He would have another helper. It was a pity that the young miss was pampered and he did not know what to make her submit. Let's go and see what's in this zombie nest. Wang Ran picked up the hammer and walked into the factory. Tang Tang took out her mobile phone, stepped on Tank's body, and took a selfie. Then she followed him. The huge factory was dark, with only a little light coming in from the gap in the roof where Tank had fallen through. Wang Ran calmly walked in front. Tang Tang, on the other hand, began to look a little cowed. After all, killing zombies under the sun and entering a dark, unknown space were two completely different things. It was like the difference between Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 7. After walking for more than 10 meters, Wang Ran could clearly feel a few heads sticking out from the darkness on both sides. He sensed mutated zombies. In front of them, a zombie with a hood slowly walked into the light coming from the roof. "Yo, you're still alive." Wang Ran recognized this guy. It was the mutated zombie with a group of dogs in the computer city. Now, it seemed that he only had 4 dogs left. It seemed a little miserable. However, there were a lot more mutated zombies. In the dark, there were at least 10 mutated zombies. "Arg, it's you guys. Damn it, this guy actually trapped me in the refrigerator last time. I'm so angry." Tang Tang stomped her feet and clutched the axe. If Wang Ran hadn't come to save her last time, she might have been eaten by the zombies. There were still so many games that she hadn't cleared, and she didn't want to die. "Calm down. Don't keep thinking about killing." Wang Ran rubbed Tang Tang's head. Wang Ran was very interested in this zombie. He had a feeling that this zombie was different from the others. "Human, why are you so ruthless?" The hooded zombie looked at Wang Ran and asked in a hoarse voice. "Ruthless? There's so many zombies. You guys won't go extinct anytime soon. But since some of them do get in my way, I still have to deal with them. I live in this city, after all. I don't want any zombies to affect my life." Wang Ran replied. If someone asked him to be a saint and clear the city up, not if you paid me. However, if something close by was rapidly gaining strength, Wang Ran still had to come out and take a look. A single spark could start a prairie fire, and he would be at ease if he extinguished the sparks. "Human, I don't want to be your enemy," he said. "Moreover, we have never taken the initiative to attack human bases. Other than the people in Computer City's basement, we have not eaten any other humans. Ever since we retreated to this place, we have been feeding on low-level zombies. We just want to survive. Do you understand?" The hooded zombie said earnestly. Wang Ran was stunned. To be honest, this was the first time he had such a deep conversation with a zombie that was not of his own. Before his transmigration, Wang Ran was a coward. He rarely came into contact with awakened ones, let alone mutated zombies. He didn't know much about things at this level. Only now that he was stronger, he had the chance to talk to mutated zombies face to face like this. It turned out that zombies also recluses of their own. They were acting rather similarly to his past self. To tell you the truth, I'm a selfish person. I only believe in myself. You guys are growing too fast, so you're a threat to me. I will not allow any threat to exist in my city." Wang Ran answered. "Roar." The mutated zombies in the dark let out extremely dissatisfied roars. The hooded zombie held a hand up to stop them. "I'm Chunziong. How should I address you?" The hooded zombie continued to express its friendliness. Puffed. Cough, cough, cough. Chunziong. Wang Ran's body trembled. Before he transmigrated, everyone practically knew this name. If Wu Jiangwo was the most powerful man in City Inn, then Chunziong was the most powerful man in China. Even Wang Ran, who had remained hiding for a year, had heard of his deeds. It was said that he had destroyed many mutant zombie nests. No zombie could survive wherever he went. Also, he even had female zombies of his own. If this was in a novel, he would be the main character. Why did he turn into a zombie so early this time? How tragic. Of course, it was possible that they had the same name. However, there are not that many coincidences in the world. "What, you know me?" The hooded zombie was stunned. He was just an ordinary shut-in when he was alive, so how could anyone possibly know him? Your name just sounds like someone I'm familiar with. By the way, my name is Wang Ran." Wang Ran replied. Since this zombie could be the famous Chunziong, he could perhaps listen. To be honest, I've watched a lot of zombie movies and played a lot of zombie games before I died. I'm very clear about my current state. It's indeed difficult to make humans trust us and live in peace with us. I've already heard about the destruction of the Blood Fawn camp. It was your doing. I believe they're definitely powerful enough to destroy our small base. But I still hope that we can have a chat. Zombie Chun Ziyang suggested. Then tell me, what do you want to talk about? Wang Ran asked with a smile. If you're worried that we'll be a threat to you here, we can move someplace else tomorrow, even another country. We only hope that we have a chance to survive. Who knows if there will be vaccines or something like that in the future to let us return to normal. The zombie Chun Ziyang said sincerely. Wang Ran thought about it and felt that what he said made sense. If zombies regained their consciousness, they could actually control their own behavior. If they could really do as he said and not eat humans. Indeed, it would not pose too much of a threat to mankind. There could be good and bad people in any group. If he thought about it this way, he could give them the benefit of the doubt. If they obediently left his city, Wang Ran would have a new understanding of zombies. If they were just stalling for time, if Wang Ran wanted to kill them, it would only take him a few more days. Fine. If you leave before dawn tomorrow, I'll let you go. Wang Ran spread his hands. Thank you, human. Wang Ran. Zombie Chun Ziyang nodded slightly. He was smart and did not want to have a conflict with an expert like Wang Ran. As a reward, I can tell you a secret we discovered by accident. Zombie Chun Ziyang waved his hand, and a zombie immediately ran to turn on a light. Rows of fluorescent tubes were lit up one after another. Wang Ran saw that many zombies were tied to the electric circuit. Electric currents seemed to be flowing through their bodies. We found this after we came here. Electricity greatly stimulates the cells in our body. It levels us up. Of course, the probability of failure is very high. Once you fail, before Chun Ziyang could finish, a crack came from one of the zombies. Then, a burning smell wafted into the air. The zombie's head drooped down. It did not look good. Wang Ran understood, using the energy of science to force energy into a vessel. Madman had done the same. However, humans had more water in their bodies than zombies, so it was highly dangerous. Those who were not awakened could not do this. It was a good way for zombies to improve their strength. Chun Ziyang was quite sincere to tell him about this discovery. Uncle, are we really not going to fight anymore? Tang Tang asked Wang Ran in a low voice. Let's not fight for now. If we do fight, we'll immediately clear the stage. What's the point? I'd like to see how things develop after this. Wang Ran smiled. He would just watch their actions like he was watching a documentary. If he won the bet, he would have a new understanding of the zombie population. If they lost the bet, they would just have to spend another day to deal with them. But they are zombies. Tang Tang sounded a little regretful. She had thought that she could get some reward from the boss stage. Think about it. The group of people you met on the road today were humans. Didn't they need a beating? Wang Ran asked. Of course they needed a beating. They wanted to rape me. If I could kill them again, I would. Tang Tang got angry at the thought of it. So, in this world, some humans deserve to be killed more than zombies. Now that I think about it, these zombies just kept you on the 4th floor and didn't do anything to you, right? If they wanted to kill you, they would have searched the entire building. Wang Ran continued. Tang Tang thought about it and felt that it made sense. In comparison, those human beings were indeed much worse than zombies. Human, Wang Ran. We'll set off immediately. We'll leave the city before dawn. By the way, I have to remind you of something. The mental hospital in the southern suburbs. Something powerful dwells there, even for you. After Chun Ziyang finished his words, he began to gather the zombies in the factory. A mental hospital? Is it a zombie or an awakened? Wang Ran thought about it. Chun Ziyang had no reason to lie to him. Let's go, we'll head back first. Wang Ran pulled Tang Tang and walked out of the factory. After being delayed at the devilish brat's house for a while, the sky would soon turn dark. As soon as he walked out of the factory, Wang Ran realized that they had no transport home. The Ferrari had been picked up by Tang Tang and thrown into the zombie, so it had long turned into scrap metal. As for the few cars that were originally in the power plant, they were in no better shape. Only a few forklifts seemed like they could be driven. However, their speed, he might as well walk. The two of them looked around the factory, but they still couldn't find a suitable car. I remember there being container factory a few kilometers away. Let's go there and take a look. Wang Ran sighed. All right, I'll just treat it fast travel being disabled. You don't know how hard it is to unlock a map. I almost cried. Tang Tang knew that she was to blame for being impulsive, so she said this in a soft tone. Well, you're about to learn how hard it is to find a working car. Wang Ran glared at Tang Tang. Tang Tang pouted. The two of them walked for half an hour before they finally arrived at the container factory. There were a lot of containers inside, so there had to be something. Wang Ran walked around and found two large trucks. However, they had been damaged to varying degrees. Uncle, what do we do? Don't tell me we're really going to walk back. It's already dark. It's very scary. Tang Tang wasn't afraid of zombies, but she was afraid of the dark. After all, walking on the road in the middle of the night, who knew when something would pop out from the side? It was about 30 kilometers from here to the city, where there were cars. Even if they ran, it would take at least 2 hours. Why don't we just take shelter in a container for the night? Wang Ran suggested. Tang Tang thought for a moment and nodded. It seemed reasonable. There were also many wandering zombies in the container factory, but at least there were no mutated zombies. Wang Ran was too lazy to deal with them, so he directly climbed to the top of the container, which had several layers piled up. Once the doors were closed, the ordinary zombies wouldn't be able to do anything. Uncle, are we sleeping here tonight? Tang Tang looked around and saw that the container was empty, not even a pillow. What else? Should I conjure up a hotel for you? This container is quite sturdy. We'll be able to sleep in peace as long as the door's shut. Wang Ran said as he walked out of the container. Uncle, where are you going? Tang Tang panicked. Although this container was covered in iron on all sides, it was dark inside. It was so scary. I'm going to sleep in a container next door. Wang Ran shrugged his shoulders. Uncle, why don't you sleep here too? There's enough space, anyway. Don't worry, I won't snore when I sleep. Tang Tang said with her head lowered. Although it was a little embarrassing to invite a man to sleep in the same container with her, it was better than the dark. All right, Wang Ran sighed. The young miss of a rich family was really troublesome. She had so many demands. Wang Ran closed the door of the container and used his hammer to keep it shut. That way, they wouldn't need to worry about those ordinary zombies coming in. Uncle, it's dark. I'm afraid, Tang Tang said, trembling. She had played Resident Evil 7 before, so she was still a little traumatized. Wang Ran took Tang Tang's axe and stabbed a few small holes at the top of the container. The moonlight seeped in through the small hole. Not only did it light up the container, but it also created a romantic atmosphere. Is this okay? Wang Ran asked. Yes. Tang Tang nodded. Uncle was quite considerate. Wang Ran sat down and sent a message to Xiao Yu to explain the situation, telling her to pay attention to the island's defenses. With Xiao Yu and Momo's current strength, they did not have to worry about any direct attacks. The only thing they were worried about was a midnight ambush. Therefore, he still had to arrange for the girls to take turns being on night watch. However, the surveillance and roadblocks on the seaside road should have been set up. If someone were to break in, the villa would have alerted Xiao Yu and the others. The night was getting darker. Wang Ran and Tang Tang each leaned on one side of the container and fell asleep. He didn't know when, but Wang Ran suddenly realized that Tang Tang had rolled all the way to his side. Pat! With a hook of her arms and legs, she directly hugged Wang Ran. Wang Ran was a little confused. Was she sleeping too freely, or was she sleepwalking? Wang Ran didn't stay confused for long before Tang Tang's little hand began to grope around Wang Ran's body. When she touched Wang Ran's face, Tang Tang even put her little mouth close to it. The young girl's mouth was especially tender. Why is it this dream again? You're so annoying. Tang Tang muttered in a daze. As if she was used to this kind of dream, Tang Tang even began to take the initiative. F***CK. The moment the battle ended, Tang Tang suddenly woke up. In this situation, so embarrassing, Tang Tang instantly realized what she had just done. She had started it, but she thought she was dreaming. How could this be true? I'm a naive young lady, but I actually started it with Uncle. That was my first time. Tang Tang's emotions were extremely complicated. However, she also felt a powerful energy flowing in her body. It was effective from either pair of lips. Tang Tang's heart was filled with surprise. This was power leveling. After a quick assessment, Tang Tang pressed her two small hands on Wang Ran's chest and gently pushed him down. Then, she turned over and mounted the horse again. The container began to shake violently. The zombies nearby were dumbfounded. The iron box was moving. They were all attracted by the sound and climbed to the top like a human pyramid. However, it was way too high up, so the zombies couldn't go up and could only scratch at the bottom. This scene was very much like a dance floor in a nightclub. The DJ was shaking from above, and the young people were dancing below. The night was long, and the container shook for a full 5 hours. When the first ray of sunlight shone into the container, Tang Tang finally got off Wang Ran. So those Japanese games were all real. Feels pretty good. Tang Tang felt powerful. In 5 hours, she had grown almost 10 times as powerful. Wang Ran sighed. He was exhausted. Tang Tang might look small, but she was stronger than Xiaoyu, and she liked being on top, taking control of the entire situation. If it wasn't for his robust physique, he would have been tortured to death by her. In addition, when he was interacting with Xiaoyu and Momo, he gained power as they did too. As Tang Tang was a human, she was the only one benefiting from this exchange. When he thought about it, Wang Ran felt that he was at a disadvantage. "Uncle, are you thinking about asking for payment?" Tang Tang shrewdly saw through Wang Ran's thoughts at the moment. "Think about what you did last night. It's reasonable for me to ask for some nutrition fees, right?" Wang Ran said sternly. Tang Tang thought about it and felt that what he said was quite true. She indeed drained him like a little excessively last night. It was even more exaggerated than the main characters in Japanese comics. It should have taken quite a toll on him. "How about, I'll give you all the gold bars at once." "How is it?" Tang Tang suggested. If he were to collect money every time, she would still run out of it. It was better to pay it in advance. "All right," Wang Ran sighed. After all, now that their relationship was like this, Wang Ran was too embarrassed to continue scamming her. He might as well get it over with. After negotiating the conditions, Tang Tang snuggled up to him like a kitten. "Boy, this would be the 11th time, no?" Wang Ran was shocked. "I'm not. There's nothing else. I just really want to hug you, Uncle." Tang Tang blushed and put her arms around Wang Ran's neck. After fighting for an entire night, they had been going at it straight. They had not even cuddled yet. Wang Ran also reached out and hugged Tang Tang. Although Tang Tang's chest had developed rapidly, the other parts of her body were still very small. The experience was completely different from that of Su Xiaoyu and Lin Momo. A moment later, the two of them put on their clothes and pushed open the door of the container. F***CK. As soon as she opened the door, Tang Tang was shocked by the scene in front of her. Dozens of zombies surrounded the container. However, for some reason, they all looked very tired, and many of them laid weakly on the ground. "Let's go. Get a car to return to the base." Wang Ran took the hammer and jumped down first. He directly flattened the container. Tang Tang followed closely behind. The two of them walked toward the city. For the sake of environmental protection, the power plant and container factory were built quite far away from the city, which made it hard for Wang Ran and Tang Tang. They had no idea where to find a car. "Uncle, if there's a car passing by, can we carjack them?" Tang Tang held the axe in one hand and Wang Ran's clothes in the other as she followed closely behind. "That's a good suggestion, but I don't expect to see any cars around here." Wang Ran sighed. It was all Tang Tang's fault for being too impulsive and flinging a Ferrari. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to resort to walking. On this deserted road, there were no zombies, let alone people in cars. Wang Ran felt like a prospective hitchhiker. After walking for more than 10 minutes, a faint roar suddenly came from ahead. "Uncle, there's a car." Tang Tang's eyes lit up, and she held the axe tightly. On such a hot day, they finally saw a car. Not long after, a white Audi A4L appeared in their sight on the road ahead. "Uncle, should we do it?" Tang Tang asked with an axe in her hand. "There's no need for the axe. Would it survive the damage? Try to use a gentler way to stop the car." After Wang Ran finished speaking, he directly stood in the middle of the road. "Uncle, this method of yours isn't gentle either. Others might catch on immediately." Tang Tang wiped the sweat from her forehead. The white Audi did not slow down at all. When it got close to the two of them, it turned and directly went around from the side. "Detestable. You clearly saw us, but you still took a detour." Tang Tang stomped her foot angrily. "That's understandable. Who would stop the car for a stranger in this world?" Besides, we're going in different directions. Wang Ran patted Tang Tang's head and comforted her. At that moment, the sound of a car braking could be heard. Wang Ran and Tang Tang looked back and saw that the white Audi had stopped. Then, the white Audi slowly reversed and stopped beside the two. The car window rolled down. A man in a flowery shirt squinted his eyes and looked at Wang Ran and Tang Tang. Of course, his eyes were mainly on Tang Tang. TSK, 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 such a beautiful girl. I really want to have a taste. Did you guys just run out of the comic convention? You're blocking the middle of the road, so I can give you a ride? The man in the flowery shirt asked in a flat tone. However, Wang Ran instantly caught the greedy look in his eyes. We want to go back to the city. Tang Tang clenched her axe. If he didn't agree, she would have to resort to violence.